What's up, everybody? What's up? I just want to welcome everybody to the first episode of the new live show. It's called The Man Hour. Today, we're going to be dedicating this show to a friend of ours in New York. He's a friend of mine and Jay's. Jay's going to be the guest on the show today, and he just had some surgery. He's a supporter of our channel. He's behind the scenes, watches us. He's a good guy, put it that way. I don't want to say his name. He's out there watching right now. So to the big homie in New York, this first episode's for you. All right, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring somebody up here today, and what I'm going to start doing now is I want to keep you guys entertained. I want to put on a different type of show. I don't want to have all the drama. I don't want to have all that kind of stuff. I'm going to bring people on here who are serious, have serious, real situations, okay? And they're going to be telling the truth. I know people have came on these things and told tall tales and everything like that, but I'm going to tell you, these people that I'm bringing on here are telling the 100% truth, okay? So, with that being said, go ahead and jump in the chat. I'll drop the link. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for my man Jay. He's been on the show before and got good reviews. So what we're going to do is what's up, Philly Mike? What we're going to do, and I'm just going to set the scene for you guys, and then I'll let Jay take over from there, because we're going to start with a story from 2004 when Jay wound up getting 14 years in federal prison for doing somebody a favor and just gave him 2 ounces of cocaine as a favor, and he wound up getting 14 years for that. We'll also talk a little bit about them locking up his lawyer and putting them in the bullpen together. But remember, this is under the law. Okay, I'm going to drop the link for him right now. There's the link, Jay. Just grab that. So let me set the scene for you guys. It's 2004. In 1999, I went to state prison for 6 years. Jay went to federal prison for 6 years. Okay, I get out before him. Okay, now when I get out, I'm only out about 8 months, and the feds indict me. So I'm sitting in Supermax. Well, within the time that I'm indicted, I have to call the streets. No, I hear Jay just got out of prison. He's in the halfway house. Now he's in the halfway house driving a 600 Mercedes Benz, you know what I mean? Which, none of us are perfect. But anyway, I'm in Supermax. I sit there and I hear all of a sudden Jay got busted, all this crazy stuff going on. So I'm like, okay, he's going to wind up here. He winds up on the tier next to me. I bang on the window. I'm like, yo, get the white boy Jay from East Baltimore. Some big ass white dude. Now I haven't seen him in years. Big ass white dude comes to the door. And so I tell him, yo, go get Jay from East Baltimore. He's like, yo, what's wrong with you? I'm like, nah, what the fuck's wrong with you? Go get Jay. He's like, yo, it's me. So it was him. So now I'm going to bring Jay up, and he can tell you the rest of the story. He winds up getting 14 years for doing a favor. And here's Jay. Everybody say what's up to the chat and explain that story. How did you listen? Explain why did you do the guy a favor, and how did we get to where we met right there and you got 14 years?
Okay, so I came home 2004. I'm in a club. I'm messing with this girl. I used to mess with her before I got booked. So the whole time I'm gone, she's got some man she's dealing with off and on. So man, I'm in a club actually meeting somebody. I got about 700,000 on me. I owe somebody. I'm ready to give him. I'm with a little Dominican. Well, actually he was Cuban. Don't speak no fucking English. Not from Baltimore. Giving him the money. He's just a mule. Whatever. I never seen him before. Man, I got 100 fucking dudes in the club. I'm by myself with this guy. With this money. They roll up one beef over this girl. I don't even know it's her boyfriend. Whatever. So here comes my barber, since I've been home, my barber, back when I had hair anyway. So, he pulls me in the bathroom. He's like, yeah, it's whatever. Here's a Glock. Here's a gun. I got one too. It's whatever. So anyway, long story short, nothing happened. Wipe the gun off, give it back. Nothing happened. Now I feel like I owe him. So I go to his barbershop the next day. Good looking out, bro. I throw him 2 ounces of powder. I really appreciate what you did the other night. It meant a lot to me. You had my back. I appreciate it. Well, the whole fucking time, his barbershop's wired up. He's setting somebody else up. I walked right into it. I mean, the dude has been trying to, get me to give him something, get me to get, and I wouldn't.
Okay.
I just, I don't know him like that. You know how it is. So at that point, I felt like I owed him. I did him a solid, went and gave it to him. Well, the whole time the barbershop's wired up. And to make it so bad, man, I gave him powder. He was like, hey, you got time to cook this real quick? Back then it was 100-1.
Yeah, it was 100-1. This is the old law, guys. This is when
So
drug
instead
laws
of getting the 14 years, I would have got about what, Eric? About 32, 31, 27,
I
at
would say
least
in the
27.
20s. I would say in the 20s.
Yeah, it would have been mid-20s,
Yeah.
basically just for cooking instead of powder, for 2 funky-ass ounces. But anyway, long story short, man, because I just came home. I was home, what, 4 months?
I guess. I
Yeah,
wasn't
something
home.
like that, like 4 months. And, the judge threw the hammer at me.
So yeah, so no, actually, Frank, it wasn't even
me.
crack law was what would have happened to him. But so okay, so they wind up. So basically, you get to do 2 ounces, right? As a favor, you don't charge him or nothing like that. Winds up, was he already cooperating with the feds? Is that's why it was at a federal level?
He was actually right then and there. He was, Sammy. He was setting Sammy up.
Big Sammy from Holland.
Yeah. So I actually walked into that. I guess he came in after me, but the whole barbershop was already wired up. They were watching. So my stupid ass on my way to the club just happened to fucking stop, man, do him a favor, and it went all bad.
So anyway, so then you wind up getting indicted for that little bit of bullshit. Now here's another thing, like what happens on YouTube. Don't you remember when I first saw you at the window? I'm like, yo, I heard they found like 20 Uzis and 100
man.
bricks.
Yeah, you remember the rumors was I got called to the airport with a truck full of guns, truck full of cocaine, couple 100,000, well, a couple million.
Well, you got the time that would make sense for the time for the 14 years. Now, all right, like when with all your situations dealing with wiretaps, everything like that, we do deal with lawyers, right?
Yeah,
and we
absolutely.
do build relationships with lawyers. Now, you had a good relationship with a great lawyer down here. Shout out to Rosenberg.
Lawrence Rosenberg.
My Tell me what happened with you and Lawrence Rosenberg in court.
All right, so look, this is the late 90s before the feds ever started, grabbing us. This is probably what, 98, I think? Or probably 90, somewhere around there, 98, 99.
The feds grabbed you in 99. The state grabbed me in 99. Feds didn't get me.
So I think it was 98, Eric, or early 99. But I had, I was out on a lot of bails of shit I was beating.
That's when you had the navigator and the expedition and all that.
Yeah, I was fucking smashing shit in the state drug charges to the point where they was just planting shit on me, and I was still beating it on legal search, But I had like a violation or something, a petty violation, something stupid. So the judge didn't like my lawyer at all. Not at all.
He's a good lawyer.
Yeah, Rosenberg's a good lawyer at the time. So I'm in court waiting on him. I got an appearance 9:00, So the judge calls like 3 people that he's representing. Meanwhile, Rosenberg had checked in and went to another courtroom. You know how it is that one lawyer might represent 7 people that day. They check in, they leave. All right, so he did everything by the book. So he walks back in probably 9:10, 9:15. The judge said, lock him up to the bailiff. The bailiff's looking like, what? Nah, hell no. He's like, yeah, lock him up. Put him in handcuffs. I'm holding him in contempt of court. I'm standing at the podium now. He's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm revoking your bail too.
Hey, Jay, not to cut you off, but our friend in New York just texted me. He said, you look good, man.
Yeah, tell him I said, man, tell him I'm pulling for him, man. I'm praying for him, man.
He's all right.
Tell him, man, beat that infection, goddammit.
He will.
But yeah, man, so they got me, the sheriffs are holding me and Rosenberg in the goddamn same bullpen. He's like, look, I'm getting that judge fired. Don't even worry about it. You'll be out today. I'll be out any minute. And he held his word, man.
Back up a second. Y'all were in the bullpen together?
Yeah, they put us in the bullpen together.
So you and your lawyer were in the bullpen together?
And I don't know, I don't know if you remember Rosenberg.
I know Rosenberg, Tomko and all them came from him, right?
Yeah, Tomko was under him, yeah. So Rosenberg's one of the slickest older guys I've ever seen. Little slick, feather back, black hair, Armani suit, whatever. Stayed in a $5,000 suit, fucking $2,000 shoes, shit like that. Slick, man. He was slick. He had style. He's in there pacing back and forth, red hot, mad as hell. Like, I can't believe he did this. He was like, look, I'll be out any second. and I'll have you out. Don't worry about it. Your bail will be reinstated. Don't worry about it. And he held his word, man. He got out. He went to one of them judges he knew, and I was out like an hour later.
Well, I
That judge,
remember him from when the state locked us up together in our case, and remember he was at the bullpen first thing in the morning for you.
yeah.
And then you got the other guy, Justin Brown, that big lawyer, the one that did
Yeah.
what was that Muslim guy's name or whatever? He overturned his conviction.
I forget, but he overturned his conviction after all his appeals were shot. He did good for him, man.
Yeah, and he was actually.
Yeah, remember I got Justin Brown because he was the only one in Maryland ever beat a wiretap.
Right.
at the time.
Right. That's another thing people were asking about, these wiretaps. Like, look, like on our case, like people think I'm crazy when I tell people that me and you were not talking about cocaine or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
We never ever in our life spoke anything illegal.
Like crazy like that. We don't have to. And like I was telling people about, even with the wiretaps, how they didn't even tap my phone, but they put the stingray on me. Remember when at the pizza shop?
Illegally.
That's the same pizza shop Dave Portnoy just did. He graded them 8.1 or whatever. Frank's Pizza, remember?
Yeah, Frank's Pizza.
That's how you know that, because we knew the pizza shop, and they just did DeSantis's pizza too. I don't know if you've seen it. Barstool, they just did DeSantis down there. So anyway, so that's what they do, guys. My shit ain't even tapped, and they got a stingray on me, taking all my data, knowing where the fuck I'm at and all. And I came in. Remember, what did I come in? The last fucking couple of weeks of your whole investigation.
Yeah.
And that started, Jay, you know a little bit more about how our shit started, because I don't, because I didn't come into it. How did our shit even start? It was your fault, 100%.
Nah, it definitely wasn't. But remember the one guy got locked up, thought he was copping from the cartel, and he was really copping from the police.
A guy tried to borrow money from you or something, right?
Yeah, he tried to borrow money from me. And
right.
you know, and I hit him like anybody else who a friend comes to, and you don't want to tell him no, but you want to tell him no. So I'm like, man, let me think about it.
Yeah, and that's
so that let me think about it. They lied and said I showed interest. No. Let me think about his fucking code word for no, basically, right, in a nice way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by me saying, I don't know, man, let me think about it. You know, so they saying I showed interest in the bricks that he was buying from the federal agents, thinking it was the cartel. Whole time, I don't need nothing to do with him. You know what I mean? I just really don't want to give him my money.
Right.
Like, I want him to prosper, but, bro, I'm not trying to give you my money. I need my money to do things with, you know? So it started from that. Then, you know, other people in the case had a little stupid shit going on. They were watching them. And basically, they took people we don't even know and threw them on our case. Said, oh, well, you guys are closer around the same way. Fuck it, all y'all.
Well, I technically got indicted because of your womanizing.
My womanizing?
Yeah. Well, because here's the story, guys. Here's the phone call, and this is the truth. This is the one that actually got me indicted by the feds, and they couldn't indict me for over a half brick. That's why they couldn't indict me. I'm going down to MMA fights. I'm the type of guy now that I've done my running around in my life, but I usually have a girlfriend, and I settle down and I'm with a girl, which I was at the time. And I don't cheat on my girlfriends or nothing like that. Well, I don't know what Jay does, right? But I was going to the MMA fights down the Baltimore Arena that night. It's the night that Conor McGregor fought Khabib, and they had put on some local fights. John Rollo, remember? Yeah. John Rollo puts on the fights. So I was headed down there. Jay calls me up, and he says, yo, what are you doing? And I said, I'm going down the fights. So, of course, Jay was out and about. He said, I might stop down. I said, all right, make sure if you stop down, I'm with my girl. Make sure you bring your girl and make sure it's your girl. Because I didn't want Jay showing up with another girl and then my girlfriend thinking the same thing, that I do the same thing, right? Now, at the end of the day, they took that conversation and said and you never even showed up that night. We actually both wound up at Jimmy's Seafood, but we never even seen each other. You were upstairs, I was downstairs.
Exactly.
Yes, we never even seen each other or nothing like that. And just that phone conversation was enough, because when they raided us.
There was another conversation, Eric. I don't know if you remember. Another totally innocent conversation. I think you was the Liberatories or somewhere.
The Shrimp.
You and your girl, and I was coming to meet you with my girl.
Yeah,
So
the
I
shrimp.
was running like 10 minutes later. I said, bro, you there? Yeah. What do you want to drink? That's what you said. Ask me what I want to drink.
Yeah,
I said, look, if you remember, my girl was a health nut.
yeah.
She's like, get them to order, see if they have grilled calamari or grilled octopus. You checked on that. You came back to the phone. I said, okay, give me an order of that.
And you
I
got
said,
two
and give me
pounds
an
of
order
shrimp.
of
I
steamed
remember.
shrimp. Yeah. Then I was like, no, matter of fact, give me 2 pounds of steamed shrimp.
Yeah, there's 2 pounds.
You was like, okay. I don't know if you remember, but they turned that into drugs. And that was 1,000. You remember you had the receipt.
Yeah, yeah. I remember a lot of that stuff. And the crazy part is they would lie about the surveillance because of this. Now, if they really seen us, here's the key. I was also innocent in this, but Jay, remember I went to Las Vegas, and remember I was staying for a week, and you lent me that Louis Vuitton bag. Remember that big
Yeah.
Louis bag? Okay,
Yeah.
so I have what has one of big 7,000, 10,000, whatever bags or whatever. You know, I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But anyway, Jay lends that to me to go on my trip because I had to pack a bunch of stuff. And usually I go on short trips up to New York, Atlantic City, things like that. But I was staying in Vegas for a week. So if anybody's been to Vegas, you know, you change up a lot down there, you know, because you're going different places. So Jay actually gives me this bag. And then when we're supposedly under surveillance, because they were stingraying us, they weren't actually watching us. Remember, that's the day I gave you back the bag. Wouldn't they have said something about that, even though nothing was in the bag? Because later on down the
Well,
line, didn't they find
later
it
on down
somehow?
down the line, they found like what 4,500 grams in that same bag.
So yeah, 4 keys or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But that's in a house I've never been to, a house nothing. But what I'm saying is, if they were actually watching, they would at least try to tie that together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, whenever they see somebody hand somebody a bag in Baltimore City or anywhere for that matter, I don't care where you're at, it could be fucking gym socks. Well, they're surveilling you and they're building a case. That's whatever they say it is.
Now, can you tell me a little bit? Okay, when you got the 14 years and stuff, you went to where? You went to Coleman and all the place. You were a Coleman one, right? Because somebody in the
Yeah.
chat, he was a CO there. But I don't know if you want to talk about it. You want to talk about that story real quick? That crazy story about when we were kids and then dudes try to bring you a move on Thanksgiving or whatever, and somebody got, you know.
Oh yeah, we can talk about it. Shit, I got found
What
with no
happened?
wrongdoing, and I
Well,
didn't do nothing wrong. All right, so I don't know
was
if
it
you
a
remember.
holiday?
Yeah, so went to visit my mother. You know, of course, I didn't live with her, but you know, it was a childhood house, so a lot of people knew where it was.
How old are
So
you?
right now or
No,
then?
I know how you now.
Then what? I don't know, 19, 20,
Okay.
somewhere around 18, 19, 20, somewhere around there. I can't. Probably 19, 20, I would say. So it's about what 97, 98, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So I pull up, you know, everything's fine. I'm in the house. Had a gun on me, put that mother. So when I'm leaving, I put the gun down. I'm like, oh, fuck it, I don't need it. You know, Thanksgiving, a lot of people get pulled over. Back then, guns was nothing in Baltimore. You get 30 days home detention back then. That's before the feds started picking that shit up and really hammering people. So, you know, I put the gun down. No sooner I put it down, I don't know if you remember, I had a Supra.
Yeah, I
So
remember that.
I go to get in the Supra, and two dudes masked up come from nowhere with fucking two rusty ass revolvers, man. So I'm like, bitch. I just put the gun down. So they grabbed me. I don't know if they're kidnapping me or what. One's like walking me one way while the other one's pulling me the other way. So I'm like, fuck it. Let them take me wherever. Just get them away from my house. My mother's in the house, her
Right.
boyfriend, well, her husband, and my little sister. At the time, my sister's probably 16 years old, something like that. So I'm like, cool. There's nothing in the house, yo. You know, I don't live there. I don't go there. I go there to visit my mother. That's it. And my little sister. So I guess my mom looks out the door, hears a noise. You know, dude's like, bitch, don't close that door. We'll kill. I'm like, Mom, shut the fucking door and lock it. You know, I'm screaming to her, shut the door and lock it. You know, I don't want to get in the house where
Right.
somebody has the power to do whatever they want to you.
Right.
So, you know, I'm yelling at mom. She just freezes, of course. She just freezes.
Oh, I mean,
So the one dude who's got the gun in my head, he's kind of thorough. It don't got no shake to his hand. The other one got his hand the whole time just like this.
that's the dangerous one.
That's the one I'm scared of. The other
Yeah.
one, you know, has steel in his nerves. So, all right, they walk me in. I see my mom's boyfriend behind the door. So I'm like, cool, now's my time. Fuck it, he's gonna jump on one, I'm gonna jump on one. So the guy holding the gun in my head, I try some movie shit. try to flip him over my back and all that shit. Well, the shit don't work. You know, he slides off the side and the gun's steady going off. Now the other bitch.
So the gun's actually going off, but it's not pointed anywhere.
No, yo, bro, listen, that gun was pointed right in my head. I have no idea how it didn't hit me. If you see where my head was in the holes, that's why I say it's definitely a higher power. If you see the holes behind my head, bro, there's no way that gun should not have fucking hit me.
That's when they shot up my Infinity back in the day. There was holes all through here. I don't know how that didn't hit me.
Exactly. So now the other dude, you know, he's scared to death. He turns around, starts shooting backwards, not looking at where he's shooting. Well, he winds up shooting my mom's boyfriend in the back. He gets like shot in the back and the kidney and all that. Now his man gets shot like 4 times. He shoots his own fucking homie like 4 times. I guess why he's dying, maybe he's like, I don't fucking know. I don't care. I stomped his face in, you know, kicked the gun away. I literally stomped his face, and the other dude was already gone by then. So, of course, when the police come, I'm the victim, but who gets locked up? Me. I get locked up for kicking the dude's face in. You know?
What?
Yeah. So, of course, they dropped the charges like a day later when the newspapers got a hold of it. Like, how's this dude get locked up? But, you know, they hated me so much because I had a name. I got locked up just so basically they could try to question me. What's it over? I don't know. I'm a victim. Where's my lawyer?
Yeah.
So, you know, basically, I never got charged with no murder or nothing like that.
Yeah,
but
the guy died, right?
Yeah, the guy died on the floor. My mom's
So
boyfriend had
he killed his own friend by accident.
Huh? Yeah, he shot his own friend.
Jesus.
So, you know, Keystone Capers. I don't know what they thought they would have got from there. They're like, I don't live there.
Yeah,
but
you know, that's the danger people are in. Hey, Jay, what year were you at Coleman 1? And no, he was not with Matt Cox. Jay was in the penitentiary. Matt Cox was, I think, in the low or something medium. What year were you at Coleman 1?
I was there 2011, 2012, 2013. I think I left there in 14 and went to Beckley. I was in, I can't remember if it goes A1, B, no, AB. I was in C unit. Then I went to the hole and got out, and I went over to K unit.
Were you up there with the guy from the Stop Snitching? Because he knows the guy from the Stop Snitching.
Yeah, Tall Vowels. Hell yeah, that's my man.
Okay.
Yeah, Tall Vowels was in ABC. Tall Vowels was in A, B, C, D, E unit.
And that, yeah, Tall Vowels. They call him Skinny Suge, right? He's
Skinny Suge, yeah.
He had Carmelo Anthony and all them in the shit.
Yeah.
And
tall, funny ass dude.
Philly Mike asked a question, Jay. Philly Mike's a good dude, man. He said, did you know who the dudes were who tried to rob you?
Nah, never. Even the guy that died, bro, never seen him before in my life. You know, of course, I ripped his mask off. I never seen him before in my life, man. That's just how Baltimore's set up, just like Philly.
All right, the CO that we got in the chat's last name's Farlow. Do you remember him?
Nah, ask him that. Yo, there was a guy there who always worked C unit, bald-headed white guy, cool as shit. I think he was from Jersey and moved down Florida, but that was my guy, man. He was our unit CO forever.
Cool, yeah, our boy texted too, Jay. Our boy from New York said he's fighting. You know, he's a fighter anyway.
Yeah, he's definitely a fighter, bro. He's definitely a fighter. He's got to, man.
Yeah, he's a supporter. So I just don't say his name because, you know, he's tied to, you know, whatever.
Yeah, that's a good dude, man. Always been.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Liked him from the day I met him.
So Stone Sailor was there from 2012 to 2020. He was a CO there. I think he retired now or something. How was that joint? What was Coleman 1 like compared to like the other joints you were in?
I mean, bro, you know, it's just like every other penitentiary, man. It was a party joint.
Was the CO's name Tabor?
Tabor? Yeah, that was a cool ass one, bro. Yeah, cool as hell.
Yeah.
Good motherfucker, bro. Cause you know they used to have the shakedown crews, right? Would come around. You know, I made wine real heavy and shine, moonshine.
Right.
That's like what I did to pass the time. I did that and worked out. So, you know, the shakedown crews would come in and take everybody's wine. Shit like that. Talbot used to kick them out or tell them, look, you can come in, but you ain't locking nobody up.
Thank you, Bella. Yeah, listen, so let me ask you this about the wine and the shine, right? Now, you know I like to drink or whatever, but now
you got the Irish flu for sure.
So look, I've tried to explain because I've tried to attempt to myself, but as you know, I'm not the most technical guy in all, Jay. You already know that. So how do you actually go from making it wine into making it into to liquor, to shine. The shit we buy for $50 a bottle.
All right, so it's simple, bro. Like people overcomplicate it in their mind. Think about this, right? If you boil just hot water, right?
Yeah.
And just now while we're home, just say you boil hot water in a pot, right? And you got the lid on it. You ever lift the lid off and it's got all them water drops on it?
Yeah.
All right, so it's the same thing. Now, if you was cooking alcohol, you try to catch that. Basically, you
Right,
try to
because the
catch
alcohol burns
the steam.
faster than the water.
Exactly. So it turns into steam first. You try to get that to go somewhere else that's cooler, and as soon as it cools down a little bit, it turns back into liquor. So
right, okay, but now how do you hook up the contraption? That's where I get lost. I know all the science, but
all right. So what you do, you take one bag with the wine in it, right? You take a hose, like a dryer hose. That's what I always used. Like everywhere I've been, I would get like a dryer hose or cut a fire extinguisher hose off, something about that size. So you put it probably about a foot away from the wine, tie it real good, almost like a funnel. Have that going into another bag called the catch bag.
yeah.
So you heat the wine up. When you heat it up, it's going to start steaming.
Right,
That
and you
steam
heat
is
it
going to
up,
go
you're putting it in a mop bucket with an iron.
with an iron. So
Yeah,
you get that hot,
they hook it up to the light.
so it starts steaming, just like if you was boiling water. That steam is going to go into that cooler bag through that hose.
And the
Now, once
first
it gets into that
the
cooler
first one
bag,
that you pull is really strong.
oh man, it's strong as hell. It'll peel paint off the walls. But that shit's strong, bro. That moonshine is really stronger than anything you get in the stores for real.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's not like regulated or nothing.
Oh no, it's definitely. But I mean, it's the same process. It's just I'm sure they're using stainless steel and everything else, and we're using a fucking dryer hose.
But that
And
shit
an iron.
just gets you in the. So Coleman, so how were they at Coleman 1 though? Were they stricter? Like, is it a jumping off penitentiary? Like,
Yeah, it's definitely was jumping off. It's definitely jumping off. Just like anywhere else, the white dude. Look, all right, so buses would come in. I think it was Tuesday and Thursday. You can ask the CO. They used to call Showtime. Because you can already know what. All right, so if a 40-man bus comes to a penitentiary, 20 goes on the yard, 20 checks in from the door. So let's say 20 come on the yard, and that's being generous.
Generous, yeah.
Yeah, 20 is being generous. So let's say 20 come on the yard. Okay, so by the end of that week, realistically, you're going to have about 5 people left. And that's realistic. And half the time, it's a popularity contest.
Hey!
This.
Go ahead, Jake. Go ahead, what were you saying?
But basically, so the bus will come in Tuesday and Thursday. So Wednesday and Friday mornings were called Showtime. Because
when all the new people come, there's already hits on them.
It's already. So it's Showtime, bro. You see the goon squads or whatever you want to call them. All you hear is a bunch of keys and about 100 COs running every time. And Coleman, just like any other penitentiary, you hear the siren in like 5 different languages. You got the big percussion grenade. You better get the fuck down on the ground because they are going to shoot you.
What's the best joint you think you've been in?
Schuylkill before you got there by far, bro.
When I got there, it was cool too.
Oh yeah, Schuylkill by far was the best joint I've been to. Then I say after that was Allenwood Medium, but Allenwood Medium was strict, so it wasn't good. It's just at that point in my bid, I was staying out of trouble, so it was good for me because they had a lot of programs. Schuylkill had bad shit and good shit, so it was good.
Now I want to talk about this too because we got some people in the community that are going through cases and all Fed cases right now, and you just got out last April, but the government finally was forced into using the First Step Act and giving the conduct credits and all to people, which they were supposed to do that since 2018, but they weren't doing it. But now recently they started doing it. Now are they
2022 they started.
Okay, so how does that work now? Because it's less time now if you do things. How does that work?
Okay, well, first off, the one way they fuck somebody like me or you, we got to get into what's called a low recidivism rate.
Right.
Now, if you don't have no criminal history, it's nothing to do. But like somebody like me or you that's got a criminal history, a bad one, we got to take a lot of programs. We basically got to we got to jump through a lot of hoops. I had to jump through a lot of hoops, bro. I had to take a lot of programs to get to that low recidivism. because you could have all the days in the world saved, but you can't actually cash them in until you get to what's called a low recidivism.
Okay, so let's just say you're low recidivism or whatever. Now, how does it work? How do they calculate the days? That's what I'm wondering. Does it calculate the supervisor? I don't understand.
No. All right. So, bro, for every month you do, you gain 15 good days. If you're low
Off your actual
recidivism.
sentence, not your
Off
halfway.
your actual sentence. No halfway. No. Off your actual sentence. But now you can only get up to a year. You can get up to 1 year time off, which is a lot in the feds, bro. You know
Yeah.
that. That's a whole lot. So you can get 1 year off. After that, everything's supposed to go to what's called pretrial release. You know, RCC they call it now. Like, I forget what RCC stands for, but basically it comes down to halfway house and home detention. Now, they wasn't actually doing this, but as of late, you know, they're actually sending people out with 3 years halfway house, 3 years home detention, shit like that. You know, the
So
later it
now,
goes
and
on.
now, hang on. Let me stop you there. So the halfway house, you're still technically in prison. So that's not your release date. So you're saying you can get a year off your release date plus like 3 years of halfway house?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
that would be like 4 years. What? Depending on who you are, we're from the city. Like when we're in the halfway house, we're home.
We're
You know what I
free.
mean?
We're free.
Yeah, we're free. We can skate. We
But-
know what to do. We got friends.
But yeah, bro. So technically, you can get up to about 3 years in the halfway house, and a year off your sentence, bro. That year off. You think about it. I got home 8 months early.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever got out early in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. So they are actually applying it now. And then also the drug laws. Yeah, Bella, you always have to go to a halfway house when you're coming from the feds. I mean, you don't have to go, but I mean, you're offered that. I mean, who wants to sit in prison? You know, if you could go to
look,
halfway
you're
house,
still
go
doing
there.
prison time in
And
a
what
much
they
better
do
place.
is when we're at the halfway house, about halfway through our halfway house time, they'll let us go on home detention. So we could go to a house or whatever for the rest of our time. You know what I mean? So then you're at home. You're just they give you a phone or whatever where it tracks you and they can call you at any time. You know what I mean? Because you're still technically in the custody of the BOP. I beat somebody up. Remember I did that shit, Jay, when I came home off my first fed bit. I beat up the dude in the mall when I was still on the box. I was still in the halfway house when I did that. There's this dude in White Marsh Mall. He was my daughter was 14 at the time. Okay. And I took her to the ear piercing stand, and this was like 2 weeks before. And she was 15, excuse me. This was like 2 weeks before, and I have to sign for her to get her ear pierced. So the guy's sitting there, he made me sign. So he knows my daughter's underage at that point. It wasn't no bullshit about it. Well, anyway, my daughter had a situation like kids do or whatever. She ran away or whatever. So come to find out, somehow he was trying to get with my daughter or something like that. So I found that out. I showed up in the mall. He was at his stand, and I swear to God, I called him at the right time. He was talking to another little young girl. He was 23 years old. I picked him up by his neck. Well, I smacked him first. Now I always smack everybody. Smacked the shit out of him. Picked him up by his neck, slammed him, and his neck went in between the two trees, like to come out, like in the middle of White Marsh Mall. All the black people and stuff. There was
I remember that shit.
There were young kids there. They were going World Star and all this shit. So I'm smacking the shit out of him. So
I remember that shit.
The fucking T-Mobile man who works at T-Mobile stand, he comes running over like he's going to do something. I jump up. Bitch, what's up? He's like, nothing. He runs back across the mall. Then there's like 5 security guards. They come walking up. They're just security guards. I keep on smacking them, spitting on them. And then a real cop showed up. But he was actually a good cop. Because as he shows up, I seen him out of the corner of my eye. I said, you fucking pedophile. You know what I mean? So the cop knows what's going on. So the cop was like, oh, and stayed back, let me smack him again. And then fucking eventually, stood us up or whatever. Nobody wanted to press charges. I went one way. He went, he had to stay there or whatever. But, so I lucked out on that because I was actually in the halfway house when I did that. You know what I mean? I wasn't even out of federal prison technically. And I did that right in the middle of the mall. So you can skate around because I was an appraiser. Remember, I was doing appraisals. So there was no way to pin me down to a job, because you're talking about, guys, when you go to halfway houses, you just got regular hood rats and shit running the place. You know what I mean? That's the easiest place to kill somebody is in the halfway house.
Fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's one thing about Baltimore halfway house. A lot of people get killed there coming home, man.
Listen, I was in there in 13. They wound up because I did the 12-year sentence. And in 2013, they gave me 8 months halfway house. Scoot kill was given out up to a year. They gave me.
Yeah, I remember that.
So look, And in 4 months, I went home on home detention. But within that that first 4 months that I was there, at least 7 people got shot, and I believe 4 people got killed in the halfway house. Because you got to figure like this. They're saying when you come home. All this is all on public record. So everybody knows if you're in a halfway house, you don't got a gun on you. You know what I mean? And it's nothing to give somebody $500. One of them hood rats, give them $500 so I can see your itinerary for the week everywhere you're going. And, you know, especially if a person has to be on a bus stop or anything, it's dangerous. It's dangerous if you have.
Well, you know, now, man, a lot of people that got beef, they just won't even go to the halfway house. They
Well, that's been
down.
going on. They refuse it.
Yeah, they just refuse it.
Well, down the one in Hope Village down there in D.C., didn't some guys run up in there and just kill a bunch of people in the halfway house?
Yeah, you know, that's shut down now.
Yeah, it's been shut down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were
Yeah,
you were back. Let me ask you a question. Now we're talking about the halfway house. Back in 2004, you were in the halfway house with a 600 Benz. Why would you have a 600 Benz? And that was the big car back then.
Yeah.
So that was the old halfway house or the new one?
That was the old one.
So I've never been to the old one. I've only been to the 5,000.
Yeah, it was like an old hotel, bro. I used to park it right out front.
So yeah, I've seen it.
But you gotta remember, like, you know, that one, bro, $20 get you out on a pass. $20 get you anything. So
the gold club's right there, strip club's right there.
Yeah, I would just give them $20, like, wash my car.
Yeah. So like a lot of people think, like when they hear people release the halfway house, so they think they're under all this scrutiny and stuff. It's really not that like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, you can consider us a little bit fucking crazy too, man. Because we bro,
I used to take drugs back in the halfway house and hide them.
Huh?
I said I used to take drugs back in the halfway house to hide them. Like shit, yo, it's the last place the police gonna look.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I've seen the one from across the street though. But so was that the only pen you were at?
Nah, I mean Canaan, when that turned to a pen. I was there when it was a media and then it turned to a pen.
Now Canaan's the one where they killed the cop, right?
Yeah, it fucked it all.
What about? Did you hear about that guy Joe Canaan got killed?
Yeah, I was there.
You were there?
Yeah, I was there when he got killed. He was on my block.
Oh, give me that story.
All right. So,
and then let me say something beforehand. All respect to any family members or anything like that. Like we're not bringing up nothing. You know. I don't want to disrespect nobody's family.
Nah, Joey was a good guy, bro. So you know, Joey was a bookie, man. He had a big ticket. But he had this guy, you know, Joey liked to play games, bro. Like
that's what I heard too, guys.
But you know, good natured, like not really putting nobody down. Well, there's this guy who was actually from Maryland, Baltimore, not really Baltimore, but you know, on the outskirts of suburbs, named Wolf. Wolf was a little thrown off, bro. Like little tiny bit crazy. Not really. He had good sense, but he was a little off too. So Joey used to bust his balls a lot because he liked him. So now sometimes Wolfie would take it wrong. You know what I mean? It's just like how me and you play, bro. We bust each other's balls because we're friends. Well, right. You know, Joey would bust his balls because he liked him. Wolf couldn't really take it. So Wolf wound up going in the cell while he was sleeping, basically, and killed him. Tucked him in the bunk, made his bunk up, made it look like he was sleeping. Now, the man stayed in the cell, bro, 4 days before they found him. Every fucking scumbag on the tier who was a scumbag went in, because Joey had a lot of shit. You know how it is when you're doing time, bro. You accumulate a lot of shit. You know, different shoes.
So he was dead for 4 days, you're saying?
Bro, why you think they came up with that 10 o'clock stand and count, yo, at nighttime? It was because of Joey. So, fucking, while we was on lockdown for that, that's when I actually went to school kill. But
so now what was happening while he was dead? You said people were doing what?
Yeah, so anyway, you know, he had like a nice chain, nice charm, nice watches, stuff like that. People would keep sneaking in the room, stealing his shit while he was already dead. Because everybody, you know how everybody knew he was dead. Everybody knew he was dead. He was dead 4 days.
His eyeballs got poked out and all that shit.
No, it wasn't that bad, yo.
I mean,
at least I know I can't attest to if it did happen or not. I don't think it was that bad. I think Wolf just killed him and made it look like, you know, like he was still alive.
And what was the guy Wolf? What was he like in prison for? Like a robberies or something?
I think he was a bank robber, bro. But I'm not 100% sure, but I think he was a bank robber.
Yeah, so now I did. So it was more than his chain because I did see his family was saying something about some scumbag stole his chain. I did see
Yeah, they
that.
stole his bro. They stole his chain. That they kept going in. They kept going in. You know, and dudes would say something, but fuck, I mean, how much could you really say? Yo, don't do that, man. It ain't right. You know, but it's like I can't police a man's shit, even though it's wrong or right. You know,
Right.
and nobody wanted to make a scene and get it
Who was
jammed up.
going in there stealing it? Like the gang members, the white guys?
Bro, it was white. Yeah, of course they was. Well, you know, it was black dudes. It was so-called friends of his. Um, you know, because Joey fucked with everybody. You know, he was a New York dude. Fucking you know, it was black dudes from New York would go in there, shit like that. But it was a little everybody, bro.
Damn. So now the guy was. What did the guy do? Just slept in there while he's in there dead?
Yo, bro, the guy was still sleeping in there. Guy was still going to work and everything like nothing happened.
And yeah, Joe probably had a no-show job where they didn't have to go to work.
Yeah, of course. You know, so you know, the wolf stayed in there the whole time, like, you know, like nothing happened. People knew though. Everybody knew. You know how it is. When something happens,
But then
everybody
the
knows.
BOP covers it up. Then the BOP covers up. They'll act like they found him right away and all that shit. Because they,
Nah, it was 4 days, bro.
damn.
Yeah, it was 4 days, man.
Jesus Christ. So now did anything happen with that? Did anybody thanks, Philly, but did anybody like come and testify? Like any inmates testify against the guy or anything?
If they did, I'm sure they did, bro. You know, fucking people try to go home off of everything. But I mean, I didn't hear nothing about it. You know what I mean, or nothing like that. And the guy anyway. But you know, I didn't hear nothing about it.
That's a serious. I didn't know
But
that
I'm
you I
pretty
didn't know
sure the
you were
guy
there
Wolf
when that
copped
happened.
out anyway, man.
I honestly didn't know you were there when that happened. I mean, I knew about the incident. You know, I heard about it on here too. Like I heard about it in the joint. Now, when they killed the cop out there, didn't they kill the cop at Canaan too?
Yeah, bro. All right, so that was some bitch ass shit. Dude had like 20 in the feds, had life in the state. So, and he's a bitch, bro. That's one of them fucking scumbag white gang members did it. He didn't want to go back to a state and do life. He wanted to stay in the
I
feds
thought.
because,
Now, was he like a white guy that like looked Mexican or hung with Mexicans or
yeah, he
something?
looked Spanish, bro. I don't,
Yeah,
he
because
looked,
some of the white guys will look Spanish, and they'll run with Serenios and all that.
yeah, and that's what he was. I'm pretty sure he was a white guy who just looked Spanish. Now, I might be wrong. He might have been Spanish, but I don't think so because he fucked with all white guys. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He fucked with all them white gang members. But you know, when his fed sentence was almost up, he didn't want to go back to the state. He was from Arizona. I'll never forget. So he wound up killing the female cop, yo. Female cop was cool as hell.
Oh, it's a guy cop. You're talking about a different incident. You're
Oh
talking about
no, you're right. No, no, no. The female cop was another time. You're right. It was a guy cop, bro. And he was a guy cop that
I'm
didn't
talking
bother
about it was a
nobody.
guy cop. Listen, in Canaan. It was a guy cop in Canaan, and that's why I don't know when this happened, but it's like some big deal. You might not have been. This wasn't during your first bid. What I'm talking about. I'm talking about this would have been during this bid when you weren't even there. I'm talking about
Oh nah, this was during my first bid. No, this was like '09 when this shit happened. I'm talking about.
Okay. So what?
Nah,
It
but
fucking
yeah, I think they did kill somebody again there. No, this was definitely a girl cop then that I'm talking about. The guy cop happened recently, like you said.
yeah, because that's
And I think that's why you remember how drinking used to be a 200 series, right?
yeah.
I think whatever happened there, that's why it became a 100 series.
Yeah, because now what do they do with the? So what do they? So the guy was drunk or something.
Yeah.
So now what do they do? Like, let me ask you this: like nowadays, I haven't had a drinking shot since 2009, and I seen now they will send people to the SHMOO program for the drinking and
Well,
shit.
they stopped it, but yeah, they did, bro. People was getting smooth for drinking, man.
Yeah, but that's because fucking
They was misusing that shit.
the violence though. No, that's the violence behind it though. I mean, if you could ask a CO, right? If you could ask a CO that was working in one of these violent places, right? What would they rather have people doing?
Oh, they rather have them shooting heroin or anything other than drinking, bro. I mean, they're rightfully so. They're scared of the alcohol. I mean, a lot of shit jumps off on alcohol.
See, I know they did something to I forget the incident. I'm trying to find out what the fuck that whole incident was in Canaan, because it's some type of rule change now, like that's like the worst jail to go to now, they say. Like the police hate all inmates.
Well, they definitely hate all white people.
Well, I mean, the white guys are the ones who put on all the crazy shit. You remember though, you remember like Mumbles and Keon and all them Lex terrorists?
Yeah.
Okay. So now do you look, this is crazy. You know, they actually got time knocked off their sentence. They'll be home within 10 years.
What was it for?
Well, I guess these compassionate release rules or something like that.
Yeah,
well,
I remember shit. Mumbles had double life. He was in Coleman 1 with me.
Yeah, well, listen, when Mumbles was in Big Sandy, he's the one, if you guys want to look this up, the cop, Mumbles, you know, he got in trouble and shit. He was young. So he beat up somebody and put his hands on a cop. He put his hands on the cop, right? So he's in the hole. Or no, he was in the hole for stabbing somebody. And when he was in the hole, he like disrespected the cop, pushed him, something like that. You know what I mean? Whatever, bumped him. So you know how you get them one COs that they think they're like the baddest thing in the world?
Yeah.
Well, the next day, the CO shows up outside, and this is on lockup, shows up outside of Mumbles' cell, picking his fingernails with a knife and telling him, yeah, I'll fuck, you know, like basically threatening him. Mumbles told him open the door. This is how the cop got in trouble. Mumbles didn't get in trouble. By the cop opening the door, okay, yes, Stone Sailor, that he's talking about Officer Eric Williams. That this guy's name was Eric Williams. He was the CO said. That's a different whole thing, Jay. But anyway,
yeah.
So Mumbles. So now Mumbles, when the cop opened the door, he's breaking the law. So when he did that, Mumbles hits the cop. Boom, you know, he's a big kid. You know what I mean? He's younger than us.
Yeah, Mumbles a big kid.
He went in when he's like 18 with all the murders, and he's huge.
Big ass fist, fucking fist like 3 times the size of mine.
Yeah. So he, you know, he laid into the cop. So, what you would call it? When Mumbles hit the cop, Mumbles winds up taking the cop's knife and stabs that cop and stabs 2 other cops. But he didn't. They tried to press charges on him, but they couldn't because of the fact that that cop opened the door. So I guess it's against their rules.
Well, why the fuck you got a knife in the joint? I mean, they're not. That's not part of the goddamn.
Brought the knife in.
Yeah, you brought in contraband. Like that's not part of your. They don't go check a knife out of the equipment room. Right,
but listen. Here's the crazy thing, and like shout out to Mumbles and Keon and everybody, Lex Terrace dudes. They gave them actually, you know, they had a lot of shit, bro. They had a lot of bodies and wild shit, but
they had like Keon and they had a lot of shit.
They actually got made the compassionate release thing or whatever.
That's good though.
Yeah, Matt. See, Matt said that some people have said that the guy Joe did bully around that dude or whatever like that, but I did hear the guy Joe had an arrogant attitude too. The guy. Joe.
I mean, he did, right? But
it's just different for different type of people.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Like
like certain people take offense to certain things.
He might have really bullied Wolf a little bit, you know, but it was one of the things where he kind of took care of Wolf and made you. I mean, look, yeah, he probably did bully him a little bit.
Everybody, look, a lot of times when these guys, the mob guys especially, or guys associated with the mob, what they will do is in prison, they will come and they'll find a guy who really doesn't have a lot of shit, doesn't have a lot of things going on. He's kind of a loner. And they'll basically make them, I don't want to call him a fuck boy, but that's basically what it is. So
pretty much. You know, people used to make fun of Wolf and shit like that, call him his dude boy and stuff like that. So, you know, other people just pumping him up, not thinking he was going to do nothing like that, probably played a part in it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so, so that you'll get that. But like, a lot of times people don't know, like people will instigate stuff too. Like, and the gang members are famous for this. And I hate when East Coast guys fall for it. They'll just start putting shit in people's ears. One East Coast guy against another normal guy or whatever. You know, he did this. I heard that when he was in this jail, he smoked a cigarette after a black guy. You know, dumb shit like that. And Chad M says Joe was a good man. What's up, Thornblades? So yeah, so a lot of times you got
Yeah,
guys.
see, I like Joey, man. I you know, I did a lot of stuff by running my ticket. I did a lot of stuff with Joey. I mean, Joey was just, you
But
know,
he had a ticket. He was a bookie and shit. So he does the same thing like we do.
yeah, like I mean, look, Eric, you would like Joey. Like, you know, he had a smart ass. He was a smart ass, but it was in a good natured way. You know what I mean? Like, he was just a slick talker. I mean,
but some people are going to take it the wrong way, and then you do got other people pumping up from the outside. And as you said afterwards, look at what people were doing. They were going in there robbing the guy. So basically,
yeah, big jealousy thing.
They didn't have the balls to go in there and rob him and lay him out like this guy did. They wanted to go and use this guy's work to rob the man, basically.
Exactly. Period.
Yeah. Then nothing like that. I don't care. Listen. It's not worth taking somebody's life over a few words or whatever, you know. But I know I could tell the situation myself just from experience and being around the mob guys. Like, they'll keep a lot of guys like that around, and then people make fun of him. Oh, he's abusing you. He's doing this. He's doing that. And that gets in these guys' heads, and they're fucking
Which
nuts.
Is crazy, you know. Yeah,
they're nuts.
Which is crazy because they want to have a pot to piss in without these guys. Let's be for real.
Yeah, yeah. But at the end of the day, Jay, it's just like anywhere else, man. It's just like shit can get instigated. It can get blown out of control. You know what I mean? Any little thing, any little rumor can blow up into this, and then you'll hear this, then you'll hear that. Just like the situation with me and you when I seen you or whatever after 2004. I heard that you got locked up with fucking goddamn Uzis and fucking 100 keys and all kind of shit, and then fucking you were locked up for 2 fucking ounces for doing a guy a favor. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that goes. You know, but everybody's going to have their differences of opinion on people and shit like that. But I could see, like, look, I've just seen it plenty of times. That when you were just down Fort Dix and all that shit, did they have a lot of the mob dudes there? Are they big there, like at Schuylkill and shit?
Nah, not like you would think. Nah, bro, not really like you would think. Maybe Fort Dix is 2 different sides.
That place is wide open. That's got to be the most wide open place ever,
bro. Fort Dix is like being in the projects home, bro.
I remember when we went out that night.
Listen, I've been in prison most of my life, bro. I couldn't fucking believe some of the shit that was going on in Fort Dix. Like, bro, it was like Amazon. They had drones flying in with whatever the fuck you wanted, bro. And I'm not bullshitting. Like, most of the nights would be the COs chasing drones around. Jesus. Like, they had drones flying in like a fucking airport, dropping off or whatever. And them goddamn drones was bringing in big bags of shit. Like, I couldn't believe it, bro.
Do you have extra do they have like extra COs because of that or something? Like, because it's a low, right? Fort Dix is a low.
Bro, listen. All right, so it's 2,500 people on every side. It's 2 sides. It's 2,500 people on each side, right? And for how many people was there? Fuck no, it ain't no whole lot of COs. No. You'll be in the yard
you could just
with the whole side.
You run unit to unit, all that shit.
Yeah, all day long.
And they don't care?
Bro, like, it's the most wide open, easy going.
Low and I hated it.
Bro, people get caught with a phone there. Now, think about this, yo. You get caught with the white people with a phone in the mountains, like Alan Wood. You're getting a fucking charge. You're going to jail. You're getting more time. All right, so you get caught with a phone at Fort Dix. You got a couple COs you can buy it back. They charge you like 20 bucks. All right.
That's it.
20 bucks. I'll sell you your phone back. One guy, it was like 30 bucks. You know, they go buy food and everything else with the books. So, but you know, the ones that do stand on it and say you do go to the hole, man, you're going for like 15 fucking days for a phone shop, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember we were on the phone that night. You were on the phone with some people. We were going out to the club. This is just recently when you came home. Me and you were going out to the bar, and you were talking to the dude in there. And man, it looked like it was a fucking party in there.
It's a fucking 24/7 party, bro. Like, and you know, I don't bid like that, so I don't like it. You know, I don't do time like I'll try and get up 5 in the morning, work out, go to bed, you know, eat right. You know, they're staying up all night party. It's a constant party, bro.
What's the main drug?
Man, all right, so you got everything in there.
I know.
You got
I don't know what main drug is there. I know where it is everywhere.
you got, and that's another thing. You had hella overdoses, meth. People smoking meth, overdosing. People
Smoking
on
meth.
fucking
Actually smoking meth like people do on the street.
yeah, like you was on the street, bro. You get it. Listen, the main drug in there though, I would say, was wax, some kind of wax, THC, because it don't smell as strong as weed,
Are
but
you
it
talking
began
about
people fuck.
dabs? You talking about dabs? I smoke dabs.
Yeah, but this is some shit they call wax, bro. I don't know. Like, yeah, it looks like dabs, like, but it's just some kind of THC wax,
Okay, it's probably
bro. They had pounds of that shit in there.
Jay don't do drugs, guys. He don't never done drugs.
Like, it's pounds of that shit in there.
So, like, what about like the K2 and shit like that? Y'all still got that? Hey, Kaz, stop that.
Yeah, K2 is bro. Listen, that good K2 that has them doing that goddamn Thorazine walk and all that shit. Yeah, bro, they was dying on K2. That K2, whatever the fuck they put on that, is so strong. When they start having them eppies, bro, that K2 is serious.
Yeah, I know. I've seen people run naked. I've seen them foam at the mouth, all that shit.
Bro, they get that $5 piece of K2 and they get so fucking high from it. And they just sit there. Like, I don't know what would possess them to smoke that shit. There's no way drugs are that strong. That's something else. That's not drugs. That's some kind of special super chemical. There's no way a little piece of paper this big gets you that high, bro.
So what about like, okay, now I want to compare the prices. Like, all right, like you know how the prices are on shit at let's just do just the regular, like say drug addict price or
I'll give you the perfect example. What's big there? Suboxone's big there, right?
okay.
You can get a Suboxone there for $14, bro.
$14.
14 fucking dollars. You remember I got caught trying to sneak the 200 in to Cumberland. Yeah. Well, I was gonna get $250 a piece in Cumberland for them.
Well, yeah, that was during COVID. Remember, there were 600 a piece when I was in Allenwood during COVID.
4 dicks are $14, bro. 14 fucking dollars. You know what I mean? Damn. So I mean, everything's cheap there. Everything, because you got every major city right there, bro. Even down south cities are there. Like everybody's there. Everybody tries to get the 4 dicks.
Do the yeah, same thing, John. Do the get into they don't get into the mix there either, do they? The Italians really? Do they get into the mix?
Man, fuck yeah, bro. Listen. Every Italian there's got a phone. Not crazy or nothing, but I'm hoping my man Big Ace is watching me right now. But yeah, every one of them got a phone, bro.
He cares. Don't say that. Now, well, you're all right over here, but yeah, I don't really say that kind of stuff. But
like everybody
in the jail has one.
Bro, it's nothing over there. Everybody in the jail has. And listen, let me tell you something. If you don't have one, you go rent one for 2 hours for $6. So they're everywhere, and like nobody gives a fuck. Like that's kind of they let it stay there because that's their way to control people. Like, all right, y'all want to act up? Y'all keep acting up. We come to take all them phones.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the CO. Yeah, that's how they threaten you, bro. That's how the unit managers and all that threaten you. Like, all right, y'all want to keep doing this bullshit? Y'all clean this motherfucker up, or I'm coming through and taking all these goddamn phones.
So they're basically carrying it on some like man shit.
Yeah, bro. The absolutely, bro.
Damn. Okay.
Like everybody there had a phone or used a phone.
You know, me and you really don't talk. Me and you don't need to talk about prison like that because we've fucking been there our whole life. But I've heard some story. But you're telling me some shit like,
bro, it was like no place you would ever believe unless you went there. You feel me? Like when I got there, I was in total shock.
Yeah, this guy keeping it real says his brother did time for Dick's back when they busted all the guards for bringing the phones in. So now it's probably easier than that, though. You don't need the guards anymore, right? What is the fence like? That's what I'm saying. Like, is it like a medium, like looking, or?
Nah, bro. Like me or you could throw something over certain parts of that fence. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember in Gilmer, right? These dudes took a fucking they took tennis balls and they sat on top of the mountain. They filled them up with drugs and shit, and they shot it over with fucking whatchamacallit? They shot the tennis balls over with slingshots or whatever. So then when you went in the yard, the dudes came in the yard in the morning and just walked around and picked up the tennis balls. And then this best scam that I've ever seen, the best scam I ever seen. Check this out, what these guys did. So these guys are working in rec at Gilmer, right? Now, on all the recreation compounds, we all have water coolers, the big igloo coolers for when we play sports and stuff. So look, this dude knew where they ordered their coolers from and shit, right? And he was getting out. So what he did was he got out. He went and bought like 5 coolers, stacked them all full of tobacco, bro. After they took tobacco, all these coolers were stacked with tobacco, and he sent them into the jail. And the fucking people at the jail at the front are used to getting these coolers, so they just put them in there. Boom, boom. When they got to rec or whatever, the other dude busted them open and shit. They had all that tobacco. They made
Bro, the best thing I ever seen was that school kill. Same type of thing. Dude worked in safety.
Through the kitchen.
Through the kitchen was getting the chemicals brought in, all tobacco. When they finally called him, he was Philly dude, man, good dude. When they finally called him, he said, "Jay, I don't give a fuck. They're giving me a 300 series shot. I don't pay for my appeal lawyer. Fuck that." He got that shit off for like 2 years, bro, and looked out for everybody. Anybody who was in school kill then, you know, pouch of tobacco back then was $50, bro. You know how much they are somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I know this much. I know Schuylkill, it was a lot of dudes from Philly area, from Pennsylvania area, obviously. And so the camp was right there. And the camp used to bring shit to the kitchen. You know what I mean? And so the people in the camp, I guess they could just leave, buy whatever drugs, do whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know people in there. All right, Jay, I know you got to run or whatever. We've been on it. Like so,
bro, I'll be back on soon, man. I'm glad you're doing the show. I like it. I love it. Glad you're getting support from people like Joey and them.
All right.
Yeah, man. Hey, my man in New York, man, pull through for me, man.
He's all right. He's all right. He said he's fighting.
You got to send me his number again, bro, so I can call him.
All right.
All right, bro.
All right, guys. Yeah, so we're going to start taking the show in a different direction, man. I want to start getting into, just people telling their stories, things like that, just shit that's happened to them, things like that. You know what I mean? Like how like on Thanksgiving they tried to bring him a move and stuff. But yeah, guys, I just want to take it in that direction. Let me shout everybody out. Everybody that I missed in the chat and stuff like that. I don't know if we had any trolls. If we did, I hope they enjoyed the show. You know what I mean? Shout out to Philly Mike, Bella, Stone Sailor. Stone Sailor, you want to hop up real quick? If you're still there, I'll drop the link for you. Let me see. Okay, I gotta remove that. Yeah, but just different type of shit, guys. I'm not getting into the. If you want to hop up, Stone Sailor, here's the link. Command B. There we go. I'm getting good at that. Yeah, but just take the show in a different direction. Have different type of topics. More like this type of shit. You know what I mean? And then shit that everybody in the chat can relate to. No, Chicky's not a troll, man. Links down there for Chicky or Stone Sailor. They want it. Or if anybody wants to come on and tell their stories and shit like that, guys, you see what we're doing over here. You know what I mean? It ain't got to be all crazy. Yeah, I know, Matt. That's what I was thinking. I love them motherfuckers. I'll tell you, hey, who? Am I linking myself in with rats? What are you talking about? See, this is what I'm talking. What are you talking about, Kodak? I'm not linked in with nobody. What do you mean?
Eric, big dog. Hold on, I got a helicopter flying over.
Yeah, so so Coleman won. What is that?
I think I recognize that dude. He might recognize my face because I know Talbert. He worked in Talbert's unit. Talbert had a lot of seniority, and he kept that unit all the time.
Kodak. Hang on for a second. I'm debating.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I don't know if you I know you're here. I know you're part of the community, but do you even know about that? Like I'm debating them, and there's no like anything going on over here. We're
this is dude. You're running a YouTube channel, okay?
Yeah,
fucking fuck these idiots.
Yeah,
they're retarded. Who cares what they say?
No, he's not. No, Stone said no, he's not. He's one of my community. You know what I'm saying? It's been here, but he just asked.
Oh, okay. Well,
like the other day he asked me something about. That's why Kodak, that's why I did a show today. From what you asked me the other day about how they could put some bullshit, a little bit of coke on you and give you a ton of time. He got 14 years.
Yeah.
So I did that show for you a little bit today too, Kodak.
No, I thought they were criticizing you for having
No.
doing.
He's just asking
Okay, my fault, my bad. I'm sorry, but Talbert, yes, Talbert ended up getting a job in religious, like working. He still works at the BOP, but he ended up working for like the chaplain as like the chaplain's assistant. He got some like easier gig where he don't have to be on the floor all the time and work the different units, and he transferred over to that gig. But yes, I remember. Yeah, I was there when I was there. There was one guy that got killed at Pen 2. They snuck in his room, stuffed socks in his mouth, and smothered him.
That's protective custody, sensitive needs yard, right? Pen 2.
Well, it's not peace. It's a pen, but I mean, if you're old and you never cooperated or whatever,
but what I mean is
they're gonna put.
It's less violence there.
Yes, it's less violent, but stuff would pop off there too, because guys, even though they say they drop a gang, they go there and they gang up again sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, he was talking about now that 10 o'clock stand-up count that he was talking about, he was confusing that, I think, with another one, but that 10 o'clock count, because there was a guy that basically, now remember, we count how many times a day? 5 times a day, right? On the weekends,
4 o'clock is the most important, right?
Okay, but on the weekends, we count at midnight, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, right? Then at 4 o'clock on the weekdays and 10 o'clock. But on Saturdays, we have a 10 a.m. count. So on Saturdays and Sundays and holidays, you're counted 6 times minimum. So this guy was counted supposedly alive for 4 fucking days. So some correctional officers were lying because, a 4 o'clock count is supposed to be stand up.
Yes. It's always been stand up, but
yes,
I will say this. I have had COs that, the COs get like for 3 months at a time.
Yeah, I understand.
I've had the regular COs that didn't even didn't make you stand up either.
Yes, and
I like that. I hated standing up because everybody's taking.
Yeah, at 10 o'clock, if you were laying in your rack and I went by with my flashlight and you went like this to me and showed me you were alive, like that, right, I was good. You know what I'm saying? Now, stuff like that, guys that I knew because I'd been on the floor. You know what I mean? After a while, but like, this guy. So officers were counting a dead person, supposedly a stand-up count, and this dude was dead for 4 fucking days, like the other guy, the gentleman described. And officers were lying. They were lying. They were falsifying their counts. So that was a big controversy. And the Bureau of Prisons does not like controversy. So they like to cover things up like that. They have a policy, an unwritten policy. Nobody dies in the prison. No inmate dies in prison. They don't die there. Right, you put them on even if they're fucking rigor mortis, you put them on a stretcher, you bring them outside the prison, put them in the ambulance, hook up the fucking EKGs. He's dead. He died outside. That's their unwritten rule that they do, and that's how they cover up things. They do cover up shit all the time. It's a very
just like, they have to. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said,
if it's going to make the warden look bad or the bureau look bad, they'll cover up fucking anything to save their asses. Those wardens want their bonuses. The unit managers want to be wardens. The captains want to be assistant wardens. Everybody's looking to get promoted. And when you're up in the senior executive staff, it's all politics. You could be the best correctional officer in the world and never make lieutenant or nothing, because it's all politics after that. Well, they got to like you.
Also with you guys is like this. I get tattoos, obviously.
Yeah.
I get tattoos. So I have my own tattoo needle and my own barrel. Now, what I do is I take my tattoo needle and my barrel, I wrap it up real good with a bunch of stuff, then I put it in a big envelope and I tape it on my locker and I write real big in marker, tattoo needle. The reason why I do this, people might be thinking, why are you telling on yourself? No.
Mm.
A correctional officer has to shake, if they have to shake down my cell, they appreciate that so they
Yes.
don't poke their self.
That is an unwritten nonverbal agreement between you and the officer, because I was stuck by a needle.
Okay.
Okay. I had to go take all that medicine and all that stuff and all that. I was stuck by a needle. So if someone did that, they put it on their envelopes, needles, leave it on their desk. I never touched it because I knew they were doing me a favor. It was kind of an unwritten agreement. Thank you for putting all your needles in one spot so I don't get poked. You know what I'm saying?
And it's
I'm not going to bother.
Guitar string too, because that's
Yes.
what they were making them out of,
Yes.
guitar strings. The B
Yeah,
chord,
exactly.
the B chord.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. And I never took any, if they had them out, thank you for letting me know, because I'd been stuck. My rookie year, 9 months into the job, I got stuck with a needle and I had to take all that HIV medicine and all that other precautions.
I want to say something, Stone Sailor, and
Yeah.
you could say this.
What?
Here's the thing. Damn, I was looking at that damn thing. So you've been stuck and you're talking about the diseases. There is so
COs are not the sharpest tools in the shed. Thank you, Snake. Go ahead.
There is so many diseases in prison.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people with HIV. You know what I mean? Because they've given them
more hepatitis. Actually, there was actually more hepatitis. Hep was more, and Hep could live longer outside the body. Hep could live up to 30 fucking days. The thing about HIV, because like I said, I got stuck. Once it hits the air, it dies usually. Right. So there's a good, but the hepatitis can last for 30 days outside in the air, and especially in that environment where germs are just, it's like a petri dish of germs. And that's how I ended up getting that staph infection in my spine. That's what my staph infection came from, because there was a staph MRSA outbreak in the prison. And that's how I got the staph infection in my eye. That's what originally led to my retirement, my medical retirement, because of that. Jesus, how dirty they were. Yes, the MRSA, smallpox, Legionnaire's disease. I thought Legionnaire's disease was cured 30 years ago. Apparently, it's not cured at Coleman because there was an outbreak of it. Legionnaire's disease.
Yeah, see, a lot of people are on that Hep C medication in there, and it will make them sick and stuff. But some people actually recovered. But talking about Hep C, listen, when Hep C first came on the scene was when I was a little kid. Okay, and I learned about it because, like I told you, from my family, how my family had.
Yeah, I understand. I got you.
Well, my uncle, he's the one who wound up dying in my grandparents' house that I had to pronounce dead anyway in the future. But he was in some type of, he was a veteran from the Navy, so he's in some one of them rehab things, and he'd come back to my grandparents' house for the weekend and stay and stuff like that. Well, he had hepatitis C and from shooting drugs. Well, it was such a crazy and new thing then. A nurse actually came to my grandparents' house and explained. They said, just like you're saying, do not drink after him, do not smoke after him, none of that kind of stuff, because this shit lives and all kind of crazy stuff. They also said that, how, I'm going to answer your question, man, but it seems like now listen, what are you talking about associating in any fashion with rats? What are you talking about?
What he's saying is what he's trying to say is by you doing a show with Dominic Sicali, you are associating with a rat. That's what he's trying to say.
Against Dominic Sicali?
That's what I believe he's saying.
Well,
that's why
Kodak.
So I wasn't wrong the first time.
So would you rather have the same people out here who aren't calling him out on his bullshit and they're pro one way? So that's the thing that people don't understand. Listen, this is YouTube, guys. This is not real life.
Not real life.
Yeah, this is not real life. Okay. No. And what I'm saying is the debate is this. I have noticed a lot of the people who do the stuff and all, and I'm not putting nobody down, but a lot of their sources and things like that are people who cooperated and stuff like that. Now, I'm pointing out a lot of government corruption and things like that. Now, in that situation with Dom, I'm just pointing out some bullshit because he's saying some things that are not true, which I know. I am a neighbor right here. Let me tell you right now, I'm as close to Philadelphia as I am to Baltimore. Just put it that way. But I'm in Maryland. Okay. So by me saying these things, yeah, and another thing, if he's saying me platforming anybody, listen, guys, I don't know how long you've been around, but if you've seen how I've built my channel, I didn't attack people. I didn't do nothing like that. And I've built my channel piece by piece about government corruption, prison, stuff like that. Now, there's other people in genres and things like that that have shows. Just as you watch their shows, hey, Kindness Works, as you watch their shows, I watch their shows. Some of their shows I actually enjoy, you know, and you probably enjoy some of their shows too at times, and sometimes you don't like them and stuff. But we're talking in reality, in real life. You know,
yes.
in real life, no, I'm not.
And this isn't the mob, whoever you are.
Another thing I can never do. I can never platform him. He's way more popular than me.
Yeah. It's good that you guys are doing a collaboration. It's a good collaboration.
It's a good thing. And also, Kodak. Well, hang on, Kodak. There's also something deeper that I'm glad that you brought this up too, Kodak, because now we're going to get into what's going on deeper around here. So you guys are just noticing the fight between Joey and him. And that's where I'm in. And I'm 100% Joey's my man. 100% all respect.
Well, Joey was in prison.
So please,
yeah.
1 second. But there's something deeper going on. Okay. There's an appeal coming up. Okay. Vinny Gorgeous, as Dom Sicali has admitted himself, was entrapped by Joe Messina using government corruption. Okay. That's what actually is the case where Dom ratted on Vinny Gorgeous. Vinny Gorgeous, let me tell you something, guys. And I'm a very negative person when it comes to beating the feds, but he has a chance, man. He has a chance to come out here. So there's another thing underlying that I want to talk and debate him about too going on also, Kodak. So it's a little bit more than that. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more than that. You got to think deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? And
listen,
listen, I will explain myself, and I'm not missing your questions. You know, I'll highlight them or look at them and keep them in my mind. So I'm not.
My dad, my dad was in prison. He was a lifer, right? I told you that, right? My dad was in prison with Joey and knew Joey's father very well. Knows Joey and his father. My dad's he's 89 now, and he's ill. But my dad always spoke very high. I used to go visit my dad up in Trenton. Or up in where else was he at? Leesburg in Pennsylvania. Joey was there. Reuben Hurricane Carter was there. So Joey's a hero in South Philadelphia. You know, you can't touch Joey. I mean, that's it. I mean, he's as far as that life.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy all the way around.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Listen,
yeah, he is.
Here, Tony. No fighting, and let's not bring up none of this stuff that's going on.
And that whole thing, I studied that Basciano. I read the whole thing on that Basciano case. And when they send your mob boss into your cell to get you to confess the murders because he's your boss and he's ordering you to tell about the murders, right? That's total entrapment, totally illegal. And yes, I believe that Vinny deserves a new trial. There's no doubt. He was 100%. It was the fruit of the poisonous tree, as they say. He was not. His due process was violated. He deserves another trial.
Where they made a mistake, and actually, Sicali, I'm glad I watched his show actually because he actually made a point that I didn't even realize to make. I was talking about the initial conspiracy. You can't be in conspiracy with a cop or somebody working as a government. They can't be indicted with you. So that's what I was talking about. But then also Dominic Sicali brought up a good point that Joe Messina was still going with them to co-defendant meetings.
Yes, in the lawyer meetings. Yes. Giving away all their defense, giving away their defense to the prosecutors. Oh, they're going to do this. He's a mole undercover in the lawyer's office. He's your boss. They send your boss in to tell you, hey, did you kill those guys? Your boss, they wired him up and sent him in there. They entrapped that guy. It's bullshit. He deserves a new trial. I'm not saying he's innocent, but he deserves a new trial. And that bullshit evidence should be thrown out in the new trial.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. What's going on there, Mr. Pizza?
Not much.
What's going on, Mr. Pizza?
I was asking for you on Tony's show.
I I came by and then because I had a dental appointment and I came by. I was saying, "What's up?" I saw you on there, and now
Yeah,
I
I
just
couldn't
saw
see it,
Eric
Jack.
went on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, me here. Yeah.
So yeah, so I want to talk about that murder of that cop. There's something more to this. That I know there's been a lot of murders. I don't want to get it
Yes.
confused. The one that
Uh-huh.
the last one, I think.
Well, you had Jose Rivera at Atwater. He was killed in '08, or was it '06? And then Eric Williams was killed in 2012, 13, I think. And Eric Williams was killed by an American Samoan. He was a Pacific Islander. He wasn't a Spanish guy. He was an Islander. He was from the islands. I think he was from Guam. No, Guam. He was from
but he was
Guam.
like a half. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he looked kind of Spanish. He could pass for Spanish and all that. And what he did is he waited until Eric was locking down by himself, because up until that point in time, they only had one officer in the penitentiary for 128 guys. All right, so it's just not enough staff. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're locking doors, you're trying to get guys into their cells,
So
for the count.
128 guys. That's one tier, one officer, basically.
It's two tiers. It's 2 tiers, one officer. The whole
like
unit.
I come on a tier at Big Sandy. It's the top and the bottom, and
Yeah.
Okay.
What is there? 62 on the bottom, 62 on top, 120, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, 124. Yeah, 124. Yeah, 124 versus one officer. Eric Williams got bum rushed by the guy. The guy killed him viciously with a knife, drug his dead body up and down the tier, took gum out of Eric Williams's pocket while he was dead and put it in his mouth and chewed it. The guy was a complete scumbag, and I wish they gave him the death penalty, but they didn't. Huh?
Right on the tier, he did this?
Right on the tier. He bum rushed him and knocked him down the stairs from the top tier. Boop, 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 boop. And then by the time he hit the ground, he was on top of him. And he was shivving him. Boom, boom. And he was stabbing him.
So
and
they hit him with the whole play. Now, this is what Inmate's doing. I'm sure you're hip to this, Stone Sailor.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell your audience, like, say it's us, say we're a group here, and we're beefing with another group, but it hasn't kicked off yet. One of the good plays that we might do is we might fucking all miss our door at lockdown on purpose, where everybody's else door's locked, and catch one person outside their door and run down on them. So it's just us, that person, and the CO. Missing the door is a big move. Sounds like they did that. Missing the. But see, with one officer, it's a lot easier to play that game. But because of Eric Williams, Chad, that's the big dog right there, Chad, my brother. But because of Eric Williams, now they put the Eric Williams Officer Safety Act. Because of him and his death, we carry pepper spray, and now we have mandated 2 officers in the pen at all times, and that's a good rule, And that, unfortunately, it took Eric Williams and Jose Rivera to be killed to get that, kind of legislation, because, the Bureau, they're going to try to save money. So they'll put a fucking skeleton crew in there. They don't care. One officer, 128 guys. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. They'll put you in a position to get fucking hurt. And a lot of times, that's the plane going over. But a lot of times, anytime that something goes wrong, they'll either look to blame you, or they'll cover it up, or both. Chad, that's just how they operate. If you want to grab the link, Chad, and hop up, you can tell everybody what
Chad!
I already know.
Big dog. Yeah.
So
it's corrupt. They're corrupt as hell. I really hope President Trump appoints a director that's going to clean fucking house there. I really hope he does.
So let me ask you this. So now I see your feelings on that murder. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I explained the story earlier about my homeboy Mumbles at Big Sandy. I don't know if you heard about that, but when the cop was picking his fingers with a knife and opened his door and he took the knife. Now, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that cop having a knife is absolutely wrong. That's a terminatable offense. If you're carrying a knife, walking around with a knife in your fucking pocket, you're not supposed to be doing that. If it's not issued to you by the control center, You're not supposed to be carrying it. You know what I'm saying? Radio, keys, handcuffs,
And
pepper spray.
opening the
Now,
door. You cannot open that door by yourself, right?
well, it
Without him being
depends.
handcuffed, without him being shot, because I always had
What?
I always had to, like, when I was on lockup, they would make us do
Okay,
this. I would have to put my hands behind my
turn
back,
around.
into the slot,
Yeah,
and then you unhandcuff me or handcuff me,
yeah,
and then that's how
yeah,
that goes. So
yeah.
it's illegal for you basically just to open the door. I'm standing there, I'll fuck you up, and you just pop the door.
You were in a, what do you call it? You were in solitary at that
Yeah, I was
time,
in
or were you in?
lockup. Yeah,
Yeah, no, he's not. No.
yeah, I was in lockup when
That's
this
wrong.
happened. Yeah, it
No,
just
that's a total violation of policy, right there. Total violation. Total violation.
What's
When
up,
did
Yep.
they
Johnny Pizza? What's going on with you?
when did they do away with the tasers and go to pepper spray?
Well, we've never had tasers in the federal system. I believe
Okay.
what they're trying to do now. It took us. We got pepper spray finally. The second year I was there, and then we got stab-proof vests because of Eric Williams and Jose Rivera. We got stab-proof vests, pepper spray, 2 officers in a unit. Now what I hear, because I'm retired since 2020, what I hear is they're trying to implement batons, expandable batons to strike. So I hear they're implementing that. I didn't hear anything about tasers, but they do use a taser if they're going to bring you on a particular medical trip or a court trip. They have this vest that's like a taser, and and they bring you with it,
Can't hear
and
you.
then
Wow.
and you'll get a shot.
Yeah, no,
So
they
yeah,
kept me in
they
that
do
vest.
have that.
They kept me in that vest when they were moving me around for fucking months and months and months. The
Yeah,
federal
they keep you in that if you're moving around and they're going to bring you places and you've given them a lot of trouble before.
no, I
If
didn't
you're
get no
known to
trouble.
buck.
They had me as a runner.
Okay, a
So
runner, an escape risk. You remember the escape risk? Every 2 hours, they got to come check into a staff member. They got to come check in. You got to call them into the perimeter. I got so and so.
these guys, listen, these guys, it was some DC guys and some down south Florida guys. They were jackers. Do you know what that is, Stone Sailor?
Yeah, they rob you with a gun.
No, jackers. They jacked off on the COs.
Oh, they were gunners. Gunners.
Yeah, gunners. That's what they're called. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A jacker is a fucking guy with a gun taking your stuff.
Whatever. Well, look, they would do that, and they would have to call them every 2 hours to make sure they're not somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because the women, reason that is because the women won a big lawsuit when I was there.
With each other. We're all tripping.
All the women in the BOP got a fat check with like $20,000-$30,000 because they won a major lawsuit because all these gunners would gun them and they would tell and say the guy's jerking off to me, and some of the staff that had been working there a long time would say, look, get over it, you're working in a male prison. You know what I'm saying? You're a female in a male prison. Well, that didn't look good when they brought the lawsuit to court. All the women, and they all ended up getting like a $20 million fucking thing. They all split it. They all got checks for $30, $25, and $30,000. The next week, I saw new cars, and a couple of the girls got their boobs done with the bread.
That's the craziest stuff, though. People don't even realize these weirdos do that, man. Like, it's like weird.
Yeah.
I've seen a guy get caught doing that in the chow hall, man. And
Oh my God, he was really desperate.
he was in the Midwest car. They fucking crushed him.
They should. They should.
Oh yeah,
They should.
yeah, I agree. Listen, but he's lucky they didn't have a bunch of knives on him, bro. They've stomped him.
Yeah.
Out. That's when they were.
I mean,
selling
it's
him.
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's that these guys can't just go in their room and do, you know what I'm saying? Give me a fucking break. These guys stand by the door and they got a smile on their face and they wait for the officer to unhook the food pot, the food slot. Food slot falls down. He's standing there with his fucking schlong in his hand, jerking it. That's not right. You know what I'm saying? You got to. Yeah, you can get a charge. They're taking a lot more seriously now that they lost that lawsuit.
Well, no,
So now they're
anything now. Even the last time I was in, I got into a fight. I beat somebody up with my hands. It's not even a big fight, just ding, ding, ding. Right?
Yeah.
They actually, and it's a 224 minor assault. You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
no bodily harm. They're not like that. Okay, it's not like the Hunter series. Do you know they still sent that out to the FBI?
Yeah, they want to get it. You know, well, here's what it is. What they do is, let me try to put this in a. What they'll do is they'll send these cases out to the AUSA, the Assistant U.S. Attorney, just to see if they'll prosecute you. You understand? Just to see if they'll put an additional charge on you.
And then you guys,
Okay.
and I was explaining, you guys can't even give us our shot until they
Let it
decline it.
fly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what it is think about it. If you're an assistant United States attorney and you got a correctional officer that was viciously attacked, or maybe two inmates fought and a guy picked up a knife and just fucking stabbed them, slashed them up bad. The guy had to go to the hospital. He was in intensive care and he gets out. They want to say, hey, we prosecuted this guy while he was in federal prison. We're zero tolerance on violence. So the AUSA wants to look good by, putting that charge on you. So, but a lot of times, sometimes they don't even take them, depending on the ASU. Some AUSA don't. Exactly. Some of them don't. Exactly. SIS writes them up and tries to get points. You see, they'll get points for you. If they get you convicted in a civilian court, they're going to put that on their evaluations. Wow. There's the inside baseball I just told you.
Well, listen, I know something too. I know a guy in state prison. This guy named Reggie. He's from Louisiana. I don't know if he's still alive, right? Stone cold killer, right?
Okay.
Okay. Look, so he's playing cards or whatever. They're gambling $1 or something, and he beat the guy for a box of Debbie's. So as they're walking to the chow hall in Hagerstown, I was at the new jail. You got to walk. I was in housing unit one. He was probably on housing unit 5 or something, and then maybe 6 or 3 or something. One of the houses. You got to walk up the thing to chow hall or whatever. I wasn't there at the exact time, but I know about the incident. So a dude runs up behind him that he beat playing cards over $1 and winds up hitting him with a knife. But he thinks he just came up and punched him playing around. And he's got a knife hanging out of him. Fucking over $1. He thought Reggie took the knife out of himself and fucking massacred the guy. And the COs actually testified for Reggie, and he beat it. Yeah.
I mean, that's self-defense. I mean, you're entitled to defend yourself in prison. There was one guy we had, and, Florida has a stand your ground law. In the state, we have a stand your ground, where, in other words, if someone's threatening my life, I do not have to back up. I could stand my ground. And if you're threatening deadly force, if you're in the process of trying to commit serious bodily harm or deadly force, I can use deadly force to stop it, right? So we had a guy, and it was real smart. I don't know if it worked out for him, but a guy tried to get him, and he turned it around on him and got him really bad and fucking, gave him permanent brain damage. Like, he beat the guy attacked him, he reversed him, started stomping his head in the concrete. The guy ended up with fucking severe brain damage. Well, they went to charge him, and he is fighting the case on stand your ground because he's in Coleman, and he's trying to use the state law as stand your ground in a federal proceeding and say, I don't know. He's trying it. I don't know.
That's pretty good because they will sometimes, the feds, if they don't have something that's set in stone, they will just follow the state law sometimes.
Well, the state law is he's incarcerated at Coleman. Oh, go ahead.
You're saying that when you're incarcerated, you still have the right to stand your ground?
Well, that's
what he's challenging. He says, because I'm incarcerated in Florida and someone tried to kill me and I defended myself and I caused, even though I hurt this guy, he's in a vegetable, but I have a right to defend myself in prison, and I'm in the state of Florida, within the boundaries of the state of Florida, and I want to use stand your ground to defend this federal charge that you're putting on me, which was like attempted murder or aggravated battery with some kind of like real serious felony that would have added another 10 years or whatever onto his time. He's defending that with the state law in a federal case. When I retired, he was trying that.
Why shouldn't they though, Tony? Why do you think they should have the same rights, Tony? Is that what you're saying? Do you think they should or shouldn't?
No, I'm surprised to hear that, that we would have those
Well, we don't
Right.
know yet, Tony. There's still the case.
Yeah, it hasn't been decided. But if he if that case ruled in his favor, that that would be a precedent.
I mean, like, you know, I'm, you know, I'm just saying, like, I would have never thought that I had those rights while I'm incarcerated.
Well, another thing, like when they did the stimulus checks, you know, we got to file for them and get them, but somebody stole mine. But somebody had already beat me to it and stole mine. But they actually passed out the 1040 films in federal films.
Really?
The files, whatever, you know, to do your taxes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys were able to do that?
Yeah, because technically, Tony, all of us in federal prison are assigned a job.
Yes, exactly.
That's how we were able.
Everyone has to get a job. Yep.
$12,000 a year.
What?
Wow.
So, and not only that, but you know that depending on where you are, if you're in the federal system, if you have an inmate that is a state resident of Vermont and Puerto Rico, you have to give them ballots so they can vote, because in Vermont, prisoners can vote from jail. And if they're a resident from Vermont and you're in federal custody and you're in Lompoc, your counselor is supposed to say, hey, here's your mail-in ballot, because under Vermont law, you're allowed to vote from prison, and Puerto Rico too. So there's something.
Now, can they vote on everything? Listen, because when I vote, now I can vote for the president and everything like that. But there's some local shit that I can't vote for.
Like they're allowed to vote anything that's on the ballot in Vermont. So if it's a presidential ballot, it's president. If it's for the Congress, if it's for anything, inmates have the right to vote from prison.
This is my first time voting, and
or
whatever.
I was always
a lot of different things to vote on. A lot of it I skipped, but I voted for the president, vice president, and a few things I knew about. A lot of it I skipped, but a lot of it I wasn't able to vote on. You know what I mean? It does, you know what I'm saying? Because it's local, I guess, and because I'm a felon.
Well, I don't know how Maryland is. Some states, if you're finished your time, you can vote again automatically. Some states you have to.
I can vote.
Some states you got to apply to get your voting rights back. Like, you know, in some states they have that.
I had to apply to get my voting rights back.
Your restoration. It's called restorations. Yeah.
I'm actually one of them people that can work a voting booth or whatever the fuck it is.
Okay. Yeah, you can apply to get your rights back in some states. Some states they automatically restore your right to vote, like in Pennsylvania, as long as you're not incarcerated. Vermont is the only state that allows incarcerated inmates the right to vote. It's the only state.
Here's the rule nationwide, like for me, for federal. You're not supposed to vote until you're off supervised release and all that kind of shit. You know, that's not a federal law. No. Oh,
okay. Voting laws are.
I voted, and I was on supervised release.
Under the Constitution, all the voting laws are reserved for that state, the individual state, to make their own laws about who could like. So Vermont, people that are incarcerated and/or probation has the right to vote from jail.
Gotcha.
That's the only state that allows that.
Yeah, I thought once you're in, you got no. No,
you can get your right to vote back depending on where you are.
I don't think they ever took mine. Because I didn't have to go through nothing.
In my opinion, one thing has nothing to do with the other. As long as you're done your time and it's done and you walk out of there, and you're going to be paying taxes and whatever you should be allowed to vote.
I didn't need ID to vote, but I was already registered.
Well, that's crazy. Now that's fucking crazy. See, I have a bigger problem with that.
Now I was already registered.
Showing your ID, to do anything, especially to vote.
If you're going to register to vote, you probably got to show your ID or whatever. But I've been registered since 2016 or something, and it was just I just walked in there. I told them who I was, and then I just voted. That was the first time I ever voted.
It's a little different in other states. Some states you still have to produce an ID even if you're registered. Like in my state, Florida.
Hey, Trump lost here. Trump got no ID here, and Trump lost.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I know you voted for yourself, but how many people showed up? Hi, I'm Eric. Let me vote.
I'll be honest with you, man. When I voted early, and you really can't tell. But there was a decent amount of people there, but they all look like normal. You know what I'm saying? You really couldn't tell one side or the other. It's just the people outside.
Well, I hope so. I hope so.
We're not really that bad here. Like we don't. You know what I'm saying? You know,
We don't want to talk about Baltimore.
Where's Maxine Waters from? California or
She's from
Maryland?
California.
Nancy Pelosi is actually from here.
She's originally from Maryland. Her father was the mayor of Maryland.
Her father was the mayor back in I think he resigned in '68 when they had the race riots. That's before I was born.
And then they moved the family to San Francisco, and that's where she got powerful.
Okay.
Pelosi.
Yeah, she's really powerful. Her niece is a fuck up. I know a girl who knows her niece. Her niece was like in rehabs and shit like that.
Well, they got the money, so I mean, they got enough money.
Back in the 80s, Pelosi wasn't a bad looking piece of ass. You know what I mean? She
was a good looking. Hey, did you ever see the picture of her when she was like 18 and she met Kennedy? A picture of her, a young. He banged her. He screwed her. Dude, he did.
I remember
Kennedy banged her.
Hang on,
no doubt.
Like I asked Stone Sailor because that's before I was even born. He knows a little bit more history of these people. Did her brother kill somebody? Stone Sailor, Nancy Pelosi's brother.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Maybe that's something I'm unaware. Never heard. I know her husband got beat up in the house and he was drinking and driving. I don't know about her brother being a killer. I don't know about that. Google it.
I remember back in like 80 something. Her husband got jammed up with drunk driving, and she was embarrassed because she had to go get him out of trouble. And she was
he's been busted for drunk. He's been busted for drunk driving a couple times. That guy, he's worth about $300 million. He don't give a fuck. He drives whatever he wants.
But she was a smoke show in the 80s, boy.
Yes, very attractive girl when she was younger. Absolutely.
John, that book you're reading, We Own the City. Yeah, I seen the HBO thing or whatever. It's good. And actually, one of my other co-defendants actually had that scumbag cop Herschel plant drugs on him. I'll bring him on here too. And he'll tell you all about it. I know people that them cops planted drugs on and everything. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I had Karakopka and I had the other cop from the bridge in New Orleans, the one that shot the guy and lied about it during Katrina. One of the cops from Katrina.
Yeah, the movie with Val Kilmer. They made a movie about it.
What was? I don't know nothing.
Which one?
The what you're talking about with the cops from New Orleans with Katrina?
Yeah, there was a New Orleans cop.
With gas pipe.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, one was with gas pipe Karakopka, but there was another cop that they had that was part of Katrina. His conviction got overturned. Actually,
right.
Now, what did he do in Katrina? I don't understand. He's a regular cop.
He was a regular cop. There was riots, and he shot some kid on a bridge or something. They covered it up. The kid ended up being like the kid was like retarded or something, and he wasn't listening to them, and he ended up shooting him. Something along those lines. He got convicted because they made it into a race thing because he was white and the kid was black. And then later, his conviction was overturned, and I believe he got a new trial. I don't know what happened after that. I don't remember his name.
So you say the race thing, probably civil rights violation. He probably got a civil rights violation.
Something like that, but I believe it got overturned while he was at he couldn't go to Penn. Originally, Penn 1, he couldn't go there. He went to Penn 2. Same thing with Karakopka. Karakopka wouldn't have had a problem at Penn 1 with the exception of they told him, the shot caller said, you're still an ex-cop. Even though you're mobbed up and all these guys vouch you out, because he never turned on gas pipe or any of those guys. They said, we know you're not a rat. However, you're an ex-cop and you can't walk. You can't walk here in Penn 1.
I'll tell you this.
So they sent him to Penn 2.
I'll tell you this. In Big Sandy, there was a dirty DEA agent. He was about 60-some years old. Okay, he didn't rat.
Which one? Which one? There's a bunch of them, Aaron.
I don't know. He got about 100 holes in him. Fucking, it didn't work out well for him.
Yeah,
he wasn't a rat or nothing like that. They fucking crushed him.
Yeah,
because the gang members got Arm got him. Arm.
Yeah, I got you. The whole thing was because he thought because he was with gas pipe that Yeah, I know that, and the shot callers were like, "Yeah, we don't think he's not a rat or none, but he's an ex-cop, and because he's an ex-cop, we can't have him on the yard." So they had to move him to Pen 2 because he told me, because I worked for 2 weeks one time at Pen 2 in that unit with him, and me and him had I had so many conversations with that guy because he was a Vietnam vet, so he was a vet. So I always, and plus he had a very interesting story. And I told him I read the book that Eppolito wrote, and I read the book that Tommy Dades wrote. And he looked at me and he's like, "Well, what do you think?" I said, "I don't know." I said, and he said, "Well, he told me some things. I'll tell one day if you want me to come on." But I kind of had a light. He had eyes like those shark eyes, like you could stare all the way down, and yeah, killer eyes, bro, killer eyes. I mean, he was skinny as a rail too. He grew his hair out real long in a ponytail, and he was skinny. And I'm like, "Your boy got you in trouble when he went on that fucking Sally Jesse Raphael show." And he goes, "Yeah, I know." It's exactly what he said.
On Oprah Winfrey too?
No, he went on Sally, and that was the whole thing. The kid that they killed, I'm not going to say allegedly because they were convicted in court. The kid that they killed, that Lino kid, the mother recognized them two. That cop, Eppolito, was the one that came to her door with the caracopter and took her son away, saying they wanted to bring him down for questioning. But they didn't question. They put him in the car and they brought him to Gas Pipe, and Gas Pipe tortured him to death. The mother recognized Eppolito on Sally Jesse Raphael. That's what opened that whole fucking case.
No shit.
Yeah.
Her name's
That's
Betty
what
Heidel.
started it.
And it's the mom's name.
Heidel. Jimmy Heidel. Yeah. Not Lino. Heidel. Yeah. And that was the only reason that kid's mother was watching Sally Jesse Raphael, saw that fat Eppolito guy, and said, "That's the cop that came and took my son away the last time I ever saw him."
Listen, you know where I seen Eppolito at? I seen him. If you watch the FBI files, it's an old one.
He was in Tucson.
He was doing the narrate. No, I'm talking about it when before he got locked up. He was like,
If
you watch the FBI files, he was the narrator about a bust that they did on some drugs in New York.
Oh, was he? I didn't see that one. I should watch that one.
Drug dealers.
Do you know how many guys that Vic Musso and Gas Pipe didn't trust? They would have those cops pick you up. No, they would have the cops pick you up. They would cuff you, bring you in like you did something wrong, and put pressure on you. And if you fucking rat or say the wrong thing, bang, done.
Oh, yeah, they would stress test them just to see if they would. Yeah, they would get them and intimidate them to see if they would talk. And if they held water and they held up, then Gas Pipe and them knew that they could trust them. But if they didn't, that was it, buddy.
Yeah,
they were fucking
kidnapped. Wouldn't you know you're being kidnapped? They're not going to think
it's not a kidnapping. If two cops pull you over in a car, Eric.
What I'm saying is, what do? Do they act like they're arresting them for real?
Yes. They pull you over in a car.
They're just making it look like that for the public.
No, Eric, they come to your house. You got to come down and talk to us. Or they would pull guys over, have them park their car somewhere. You're coming with us, jump in the back. And they would cuff them, bring them like they were going to headquarters. And they wouldn't go to headquarters. They would go to some fucking garage where they would torture. Warehouse, yeah. Yeah. And Karakopka was the one that started the New York NYPD organized crime task force. He started it. He was the guy that started it. And he was a mole. He was a mole.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Those dudes retired. They retired to Las Vegas with a lot of money, man.
Guy killed or something. One of the
it was the wrong guy. They mistook him for they killed another guy that had the same name because they would run names for Gas Pipe. They would run to see if anybody was a CI. Because Karakopka had access to all the records, even the FBI records. He had access to everything.
And he still didn't know how to read the paperwork.
I guess not, but sooner or later, you get tripped up. He got the wrong guy, same name, wrong guy. And years later, that kid's mother recognized Eppolito on the Sally Jesse Raphael show. That's when she kept calling down to NYPD saying, that cop was the last person to see my son. That cop, and there was another one too. And one of the detectives says, was it him? And they showed Karakopka's face. She said, yeah, the fat one and the skinny one. And that's what turned the government onto them. That's when they started investigating him. That's when I turned to Karakopka and said, your boy really fucked you, really fucked you, really fucked you over on the Sally Jesse Raphael show. And he looked at me and he's like, yeah, I know. It's exactly what he said to me.
Why did
Because
he
that
go
was
on?
huh? Because he
Why
wanted
did
to
he
be
go
a movie. Because Eppolito thought he was a movie star. He thought that he was going to be the next Robert De Niro because he was in Goodfellas and all this other stuff, and he was writing
Yeah.
Hollywood scripts, and
That's
he
like
was
how
trying
he
to
did the
write
FBI
scripts.
files.
Yeah.
I've seen him doing
Yes.
FBI files.
He was obsessed with being fucking famous. That's what he was, and he was, and it fucked him up because they were both retired for 10, 15 years living in Las Vegas. They both bought these big homes right next to each other in Las Vegas in a neighborhood, a wealthy neighborhood. And they were working as private investigators. They worked at a prison for a little while. Karakopka worked at a prison for a little while, female prison, he told me, and he was a Vietnam vet. So we talked about a lot of shit, and he was a cop and all that. And he died of prostate cancer shortly after a couple years later. I know that, but I was able to, every time I got the Pen 2 to work, I would always swing by and say what's up to him.
Let me ask you guys,
They
either one of you guys.
killed
I want to ask
they
both you
killed
guys
Eddie
this,
Reno.
and any of the chat. Okay,
Yeah,
with the shit that's going on right now, and Bella just made a comment I put up there about writing books and all that kind of shit. But I'm not saying her comment's good. And what I want to make out of that comment is this: the shit that's going on with Sammy the Bull, okay, with the Italian Defamation League and the Son of Sam laws and all that stuff. How does that apply? Couldn't they apply that to everybody?
Well, you got to remember the Son of Sam law is a New York state law.
Okay.
So Sammy's in Arizona.
Go ahead.
Sammy's in Arizona. There's no federal Son of Sam law. Arizona doesn't have a Son of Sam law. So what they're trying to maybe do is take the New York law and apply it. You can't. It's what they're trying. What they did to Trump. You can't take another state's law and apply it to federal law, or apply Florida law to New York law.
Right.
You understand? So
is Megan's law federal?
Megan is federal, just like the Walsh Act, Adam Walsh Act, and Megan's law. Those are federal laws. Yes.
Now, give me 1 second, guy. Joe Cool. Actually, I was with Burt Kaplan when he wound up ratting. I didn't know him, but I remember him on the compound. He would sweep the compound, and all of a sudden he disappeared. This was like 2006, 2005.
Yeah, Burt. You're right, Joe. Burt Kaplan and Casso eventually flipped. Yeah, they did. But the whole thing, what lit the fuse was that mother seeing Eppolito on Sally Jesse Raphael. That's what started her crusade to keep going to NYPD saying this cop, and he was with this one, this fat one and this skinny one. And the cops, because they kind of had a suspicion that these guys were dirty. They had accused Eppolito earlier for stealing documents and giving them to the Gambino family, but he beat the case. So they were always under like a watch because they were like two brothers. They were always together. They were very close friends.
Or something, Tony Pizza, you're from up there. Was his family in the mob or something?
Who?
The cop, the Eppolito.
Eppolito's father and uncles were, yes.
Yeah, Eppolito had relatives in the mob.
Yes, not Karakopka.
Karakopka didn't, but his daughter's a smoke show.
Oh, really? Okay, I never met her. Well, good for her.
When you were in Coleman too, was Whitey Bulger there when you were there?
Yeah, Whitey was there. I saw him twice, talked to him once.
What's he look like? What's his eyes? He got the same eyes?
He looks like any old person at a nursing home walking with a walker. He could blend in like a fucking chameleon. Yeah. He looks like totally walking with a walker, an old guy that just doesn't look threatening or anything like that whatsoever. Now, I also know the medical staff person that he threatened. That he threatened a nurse and he threatened a psychologist. And one of the SIS agents I was very good friends with, he would have to pull Bulger in and sit him down and go, look, you're threatening staff and blah, 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 and all this other shit. And we're going to, we're going to put you in isolation. We're going to ship you, all this other shit.
Yep.
And he said, Bulger, like he would go, like he said, you see this old man, but he's got a whole nother side, like where he becomes an insane psychopath when he was mad. I never saw that because I saw him twice and I talked to him once and I was kidding around with him and he was kidding around with me back. I'm like, you're a pretty popular guy here, Mr. Bulger. And he was like, yeah, that's my problem. That's what he said to me. And he was laughing. I mean, he doesn't look like a threatening guy or a guy that you would go, oh my God, stay away from that guy. He looks like an old man at Walmart walking around, but with a walker, just like that, and he's got a gray beard, his head was, bald. He had, and he was just walking around and that's how he was. Chad knows a lot. Chad was selled up with Chad was selled up with Karakopka, and I believe he was next to Bulger in the shoe. So Chad got a lot more intel from those guys, but definitely Karakopka, I had a lot of good conversations with him, and because he was a vet, I was a vet, so I always try to identify my veterans and try to talk to them and make sure that they understood that there's a VA counselor that is that the counselor in the unit is supposed to be in contact with a VA rep that's supposed to take care of all the veterans that are in prison. And I wanted to make sure with all the veterans, anytime I went to a place, I would always make sure that all the veterans understood that they can go to their counselor and request things through the VA. There's a representative. I made sure they were aware of their rights as veterans. I wanted to make sure they were, that I was advocating for those guys because I don't give a fuck what they did. They served their country. Yeah, they fucked up, whatever it is, but they're behind bars, but you can't take away what they did for this country. Right. And I remember saying that to one of the unit managers. I'm like, you cannot take away what they did for their country. You can't do it. Nothing you can say.
You want a second? Scootkill John said Nancy Pelosi's husband killed his own brother in a car accident.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Jeez, that's a new one. Wow, this guy's really fucking.
Somebody else right here.
Probably drunk.
John Gary said Eppolito wrote the book Mob Cop. Yeah.
Yeah, I read it.
They were all Gambino.
Yep.
Correct paperwork was found with it. Yeah.
I told Karakopka, I read your boy's book and I read Tommy Dades' book, who was the investigator.
Why did they kill Eddie Lino?
They thought I guess they thought he was a rat or he was going to talk to the cops. They were so paranoid, gas piping them. If they even thought that you would fucking, you would piss your pants and tell on everybody, they'd kill you.
Gas pipe was Lucchese and Lino was Gambino.
Was he?
Let me answer this question real quick for Bella. Bella, listen, it's not about bragging about killing an 89-year-old man in a wheelchair. You got to understand that had to be done. That was going to be done no matter what. It's not about bragging rights or anything like that, Bella. That had to be done. They knew what they were doing. The BOP knew by putting him in Hazleton what was going to happen.
And he was never, ever supposed to be transferred to an active pen. He was not supposed to go to an active pen. Everybody fucking knew it, even the warden. But the region and DC are the ones that sent him to his death.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay?
I mean, you guys knew he was going to get killed. You know what I mean? You know that.
He knew he was going.
Yeah.
He knew he was going.
If you give anybody in the government problems, or you give the administration problems in prison, they will put you in a situation where you're going to get hurt or diesel therapy you till your hands and feet fucking fall off, and you'll be tortured. That's why
I want to get deeper into his shit because his was warm and he had a lot of dirt on them. I know that.
Who? Which one?
Outside shit, politics, and all that shit.
Oh yeah, everyone in DC. Listen, his brother was an influential politician. He was a senator from fucking Boston, Massachusetts, knew all the Kerrys and the Kennedys and all the power people. And this guy embarrassed the federal government for 20 years being on the run. And now they got him. And now he's in prison and he's threatening staff and he's still trying to appeal his case, still trying to say the government said he was a rat. He's trying to do all this. They're like, okay, we got something for you. USP fucking USP. Where'd they send him to? West Virginia? Hazleton. Go to Hazleton, an active pen.
All right.
If they wanted to send, he's at Penn too because he's an elderly man.
Right.
They sent him to an active pen. He's not even there fucking, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours, and he's brutally beaten to death.
John, I don't know. I can answer real quick. John says he don't believe Bulger was informant. He was bribing Connolly and Morris, and his paperwork was falsified. I believe some of that, John. I believe
could be, yeah. The government does that. The government does shit like that.
Informant, but I believe it's a little bit more.
Well, here's what you call an informant. Well, the kid's John Connolly's an FBI agent. So he raises the kid, kind of helps him go to college. The brother, Bulger's brother, writes a letter, who's a state senator, writes a letter to the FBI director. Hey, you should look into hiring John Connolly. He's a great kid. He just graduated from Boston College. I recommend him for the Bureau. So, of course, John Connolly becomes a federal agent. So John Connolly now is in Boston. So, but Whitey Bulger is getting the competition killed. He's feeding that John Connolly all the Italians and all the other people to eliminate his competition. Very smart businessman. You got an FBI agent on your payroll. Go get this guy. He's my competition. Lock him up. Go get this guy. Lock him up. And that's what he did. Oh, there's a bug in your office. Whitey Lee. You know, he told him where everything was. He told him. He helped him. He got rid of his enemies, his competition, and he helped them out for years, and it embarrassed the government. That's why Connolly got all that time. I don't know if he got out or not, Connolly. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he got locked up.
John Connolly. Well, if you watch the movie with Leonardo and Jack Nicholson, it tells the story. I mean, it's not exact, but it's loosely based off of John Connolly and Whitey Bulger.
My interest in it, like
no. You got that the one Black Mass. Black Mass is the one you're talking about.
Okay, Black Mass. All right, yeah.
The one with the
not Leonardo, Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp.
Leonardo, that was a spinoff of Whitey Bulger. It was called The Party.
Yeah, there you go.
See,
Black Mass.
I'm interested in it because I don't know all the details like you guys do with that, but I do know one thing: they definitely got him killed on purpose. So I know they were.
Oh, for sure. 100%. There's no doubt in my mind.
All he's a scumbag, pedo, fucking ripper, scumbag. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. I'm glad that they got him the way they got him.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I want to get into like what they actually, did. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Eric, they can get rid of anybody like that. They just put you in a place where your enemies are. Or
you got rid of Epstein.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Of course. Come on, bro. In the shoot, it just so happens that particular day, the fucking cameras weren't working in special housing. Are you kidding me? That's insane.
I heard it was one of Aralata's crew that got him.
Yeah, I think it was one of the Greek guys.
Freddie, Paulie, and some kid watching the door. I know Paulie. I don't know Freddie, but I know Paulie. I know Paulie and Johnny. They're from Massachusetts.
Yeah,
and they only got. That's what I'm saying. They only got a couple years for that shit.
Yeah, because they didn't the government didn't give a fuck about it. Exactly.
No. Hang on, Stone Sailor. The government would have smoked them. And listen, I've seen guys get life for watching the door. There's a reason they didn't want that to go to trial. So
they didn't want it to come out. Exactly. Yeah. They didn't want all that to come out. That's all public record then if they go to trial. So they offer. Plus, those guys actually did the government a favor. They did the bidding for the government, so they weren't going to come down hard on those guys.
I got a question for you, Stone Sailor from Philly Mike. Yeah. What do you think about the cameras not working when Epstein got killed? Now, you know what? With what he was on, don't you got to walk by every 15 minutes and write on his?
Every 30 minutes you have to do a round. Yes, every 30 minutes. Okay, so I call that designed incompetence. Designed incompetence. You understand? There's no way. Listen, if those cameras shut down, we lock our units down in the penitentiary. If the camera's not working, they tell everyone lock your units down. You got to have cameras, officer safety. You can't have. You got to.
I think Epstein's still alive. I think
and not only that, the Bureau of Prisons, we have computer people and electronics people that are on call 24/7, AC, all that, power generators. If something goes down, they pick up the phone, and that employee who normally gets $35 an hour is going to get $55 an hour to come in and fix those freaking cameras.
You're right, Stone Sailor, because I remember when we were, if we were going out to wreck, if the cameras weren't working, they lock us in the unit. Even if
Absolutely, absolutely.
You're absolutely right.
There's no such thing as the.
I never put that.
And you're in special housing, and you're telling me that they didn't call the computer guy in right away and have them fix those cameras? There's no fucking way. It's just, they even have backups, dude. They have backup generators. If we lose power, we have a generator that can power that whole place through hurricanes. I've been there through a hurricane. I've had to work during a hurricane where I had to sleep in the prison for 4 days. We were on generators.
I've seen you guys do that. I've seen COs spend the night in the prison. I've seen that.
Yeah, I did 4 days during a hurricane. I spent 4 days in the prison. We didn't lose power once, and it was a massive hurricane. They kept those generators going, everything.
He's in Israel. They faked his death.
Oh, you think so, Tony? Now
he was tied with Israeli intelligence, American intelligence. I mean, prior to this guy dying, think about it, Eric.
What happened to his girlfriend, Maxwell, whatever the fuck her name was?
Yeah, she's in women's prison. I hear she's in PC because she's afraid they're going to beat her up. And I know that. I mean, look, Epstein. What convicted pedophile guy do you know actually has meetings with the CIA director? That was a meeting on his calendar that he would meet with the CIA director. Like, that's insane, bro. And this isn't me making up stuff. This is fact. These are facts, bro. These are facts. He met with the CIA director. The guy Acosta that didn't prosecute him ended up being like the secretary of energy or something. That federal prosecutor Acosta that Biden appointed him to like a secretary, a cabinet position. That was the original prosecutor on his federal child thing, and that guy's one of the ones that covered it up. He's the one that they didn't they dismissed the case.
Before I forget, didn't they find like a painting of Bill Clinton like
in a dress? Yes, with the legs crossed. Yes, with red high heels on.
It's a picture.
Yeah, look at it. You can look online. They found that in his house. I mean,
he's sitting in a dress with his legs up on the chair.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right, Tony.
With blue heels on.
Yep.
A blue dress with blue shoes.
Hey, Stone Sailor, I got another question for shooting the dice. What's easier mentally on you, the Navy or prison guard?
Well, it depends. Like if I'm in Iraq looking for bombs with my dog, then I say the prison. You understand?
Yeah.
If I am just chilling, working as a military police canine handler at Naval Station San Diego or Naval Station Norfolk, and I'm just driving around helping, old ladies cross the street and getting cats out of the tree, and maybe every once in a while a loud noise complaint, and I maybe write some tickets, and then I just do dog training and go home, then I would say that part of the Navy is easier than the prison. So
did you ever go to that Navy base up there in Maine above Brunswick?
I've been to Brunswick. I was in Brunswick for only for a day, though. Only for a day.
They got those nuclear ships that are fucking faster than lightning.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff in Groton, Connecticut, and stuff like that.
Maine to Italy in like fucking 6 hours.
So it depends on what job I was doing, Dice. It depends. The penitentiary, yes, can be very stressful, no doubt. But I was used to that kind of environment. 20 years in the Navy, bomb detection, all that, military police.
The military
I was
kind of the same.
It was. I saw a lot of similarities, man. I used to tell the guys, bro, this is like being on a deployment or being out to sea on the ship. You got the same guys you're looking at every day. Everybody's getting, after a while, shit gets old. People start beefing, getting in each other's faces. One guy's got some gambling going on. One guy's trying to make wine. One guy's fucking, doing something else. We have all that on ships too, bro. All that on ships. Even girls turning tricks on carriers. Okay, that's been, unfortunately, that's happened in the Navy.
You want to laugh? I was lobster fishing in 2013 up in Kittery, and I stayed in the rooming house right outside the Navy Yard in Kittery, Maine. And the guy that owned the rooming house had a job working in the Navy Yard as a civilian. He did paint You know, they painted the ships and shit like that. So he saw I was having a hard time because, you know, lobster fishing wasn't doing too well. So he says, let me get you a job with me in the Navy. I said, okay. And he doesn't ask me, like, you know, about my past or anything. And I didn't tell him anything. So, like, he brings me in and you know, I'm filling out the paperwork. He turns that fucking paperwork in, and next thing you know, like, we're fucking locked in rooms, separated. And, you know, like, they're giving him, like, the riot act, and I'm sitting, like, you know, like, wondering what the fuck is going on, you know what I mean? Like, next thing you know, the door opens, and, you know, he grabs me. He's like, yo, you should have told me about your past. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, oh, you almost got me fired. You know, they were screaming at me, but I explained to them I was just trying to get you some work, you know? It's funny as fuck, though.
Well, yeah,
Let me ask you a question real quick, guys. Now, the real truth. Let me say it this way. We don't have the same views on certain things, right? We don't have the same views. But some of the stuff that he says is stuff I can relate to, if that makes sense. And also, though, with his situation going on now, he's came out and he's admitted, well, not admitted, he came out and just said it, that Vinny Gorgeous was entrapped. So they got that case going on now where Vinny Gorgeous might get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he deserves a new trial, at least, at minimum.
I'm looking to talk to him about a few things.
That would be awesome.
Real truth. To answer your question, I'm not a disrespectful person. This isn't real life to me, real truth. So I didn't come on here building my channel like, you know, calling out, you know what I mean? But when somebody says, I don't know about that, Chris, I'm over here standing on business. But anyway, so we don't know each other, whatever. But no, we don't have the same views on a lot of shit. But there's also shit going on that's real that I actually want to debate him on, which obviously we already know the one thing, but then the real shit, you know what I mean? Because this guy, yes, definitely deserves a new trial. And actually, at the end of the day, Dominic was part of the entrapment. He got entrapped by Joe Messina also. Let's be real. Now, obviously, Dominic flipped, but he was entrapped also. And that now I'm talking serious about this case because I want the seriousness to get out there when I'm telling you that he has a chance. He has a chance. That case is so
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's
I'm not disrespecting him. Like, you know, like having people talk about his wife and all, nobody's going to talk about nobody's wife on my show or in my chats.
Yeah, that's bad.
So I don't carry myself like that. It's the man hour, you know what I mean? We're chilling, you know.
You know what's really cool, Eric, is the fact that, you know, I saw a lot of guys like you, even Sakali and a lot of other guys. You guys really, you could have been successful without doing anything illegal. You're very, you know, like Dom is successful and stuff. You're successful in your private life. You know, you have that entrepreneurial spirit and stuff like that. And I saw so much wasted talent in jail. People that I saw.
That, though, here's the problem, too, Taylor. It looks that way also, too, because you also got to understand something. When you're young and you get a felony, you better learn how to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
You know, so a lot of us do. That's why you see a lot of us are in real estate. A lot of us are in certain things. We have to make our own money. We have to.
Yes.
You know, it's like an athlete putting asses in the seats.
You know what I mean? Your back's up against the wall and you perform.
I can make fucking 200,000 for the year.
Yeah.
You know, I can make.
I've seen so many like people that would just like the stuff that they would invent or they would some kind of scam they were trying to do, and you look at it, and you're like, man, that took some intelligence to come up with that. Like, wow, you know. Or you know, or these guys, like I knew guys that used to bet the stock market in jail. They were always betting stock market, you know, calling on the phone, getting this and that, and all that stuff. And I mean, guys that all kinds of you know, guys that wanted to start businesses and things like that. You could kind of tell who's going to get it and who's not. Like who's going, like the ones that I know that they're like, you could tell they're done. They're sick and tired of coming back here. This is it. You know, this is like their second, third time. You could tell they're done with it. they're too old. They're getting, you know, in their 40s now. And you could see that, you know, that it got old, you know.
I got a
And then
question
you
for
see,
Stone Sailor
yeah,
from
yeah.
Simon. Simon, everybody
Okay.
else subscribe to Simon. Can you ask Stone Sailor what was the worst prison he worked in and why? Because of violence, etc., or just because of the prison? What was the worst one that you just
Worst prison I ever worked in, the most scared I've ever been was the female camp. I wanted nothing to do. When they tried to force me to work with those girls, I said, oh, God, no. I'm
Why?
staying, because you could get
Uh,
jammed up or accused of something. And I made sure when they forced me to work there, everything, I knew where the cameras were. And I always positioned when they were, because these girls will come running up to you half naked. I don't believe a man should be guarding women. I believe we shouldn't be doing that. And that's why they've had so many fucking problems.
has
And I think
anybody
that's
ever busted around you for that? Like, have you ever seen that? Like a CO get
well,
walked off?
let's put it this way. I'm probably going to be testifying about a case of officers that were abusing women in Coleman prison. I'm going to be testifying to that real soon. So because of that, I cannot really talk about it, but I could tell you that these bastards belong in jail, and the BOP covered it up. And I'm going to make sure that, you know, when they call me to testify, and I'm hearing they asked me if I wanted to come to DC to do it, and I said yes. So because President Trump is going to have a big congressional hearing on prison reform, and they invited me to come. I don't know when it's going to be, but I will be testifying to all that stuff, you know, before the Congress, hopefully soon. So,
Wow.
is that
Hey, you got to come here and give us that story when it's all done.
yeah, once I know, the lady in California is the one that's coordinating it, and
You're locked in, right?
You know,
I'm getting that story first.
is that when you became the gay Popeye, when you were watching the women?
no, that's not when I became. I was always the happy Popeye. Listen, let me tell you something. There were some women in that camp that were good looking enough to be on the cover of any fucking magazine.
Well,
I'm not even playing.
People don't understand. Like a lot of
You have
times,
to
like,
tell them I'm gay. Leave me alone. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
you know, in
Yeah,
the feds,
right.
especially, like they might, you know, you got a big drug dealer, they might throw his girlfriend in conspiracy.
dude. And guess what? Honestly, a lot of them, they try to flirt with you or try to, you know, me. I was always by the camera. Like, can I ask you a question? Yeah, come right over here to me. And I would position where the camera go ahead, talk. I would go like that. Come over to me. Come right here. Come here. Okay, go ahead, talk. Step 5 feet away. Go ahead. What do you need? Your man. Okay, the man. Okay, thank you. I made sure. You know what I mean? No, you know what I'm saying? And I knew some guys that fucked up their whole life because they went over there and you know, they got caught. They got jammed up. And technically, under the law, that's RAPE.
Wow.
And you go on the registration for that. And the people that were caught doing it at Coleman, Coleman covered it up because, and I'll tell you a little bit about the case, but these officers that were accused of doing it, they brought them in, the ADA brought them in and gave them clean for a day. And if they confessed to everything, they weren't going to be charged. And these 3 ass clowns, these scumbags that I knew, and I knew they were scumbags. Everybody knew they were dirty. What officer always puts in to work at the camp constantly? Every time we switch shifts, they want to work in the fucking camp. Something's going on. And when these guys got clean for a day, they went and they copped to all their sexual abuse that they were doing to these women. And they walked out of that AUSA's office without so much as a fucking parking ticket on their records. And they covered that up at Coleman. That's why they covered that. They closed that female camp. And I want those bastards in jail. And I will be testifying.
That's fucked up, man. And yeah, John was saying, I wanted to say this. Okay, have you ever heard of the guy Tavon White from down here? He got all the CEOs pregnant, and he wound up testifying, and he was a BTS guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He got 4 different correctional officer women pregnant, and then he pressed a lawsuit on them for PREA, Prison Rape Elimination Act. And he won.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
So
when I
you know
was
you're familiar with that. That came about like within the
Well,
last 15 years or
I'm
something.
going to tell you the truth, Eric, and the
The
truth is,
prison rape of Sophia, you know
men
what I'm
and
talking about?
women, we are different. Women are more emotional creatures than we are. Okay, and if you go in there and you're a woman and you're vulnerable,
Yeah,
there's going to be someone there that's going to take advantage of you. He's going
100%.
to tell you you're beautiful, you look great, you're perfect, you smell great, your hair is beautiful. He's going to run game on you. And women, unfortunately, fall for shit like that, especially if they're maybe insecure about their looks. Maybe they're a little heavy, maybe, whatever. And these guys, some of those guys in there, and I remember someone said earlier, he goes, well, that one officer, he was all tough, acting like he was all big and bad. Yeah, there's officers like that. But Eric, I know inmates like that too.
Yeah,
They want to act like they're tough and this
it's
and that all
people.
the
It's just
time.
people in general.
Exactly. Exactly. So, um, my thing is this, I don't think men should be guarding women. I think that should be just a women job at the female camp. I don't give a shit what anybody says. We're all equal and all that other crap. Bullshit. Women should guard women. Men should guard men. It's less problems.
Yeah,
And it is because there are women. I mean, there was a woman that was there for 19 years, fell in love with a guy, brought him a phone, gone. You understand? This is a 19-year. You know what I'm saying?
I know a lot of people. Listen,
Yeah.
listen. Back when I went to state joint, what's up, Concrete? You want to check this?
Bobby.
You're gonna want to check this one out when from the beginning too. You're
Bobby.
getting here late. Anyway, okay. When I was in state prison, I was coming home. I was a B-triple-C, and I had what's up, Damien? So
Damien, what's up?
so
Us.
I had a little thing going
Us.
on.
Us.
I had a little thing going on with a female CO that had just started work. She just started working there. Okay. She was under the 98.
Eric, I didn't even want to have anything to do with the female COs, and I was single. I
she
wanted
was
nothing to do with
cool.
them
Listen,
bitches.
man, she was
Sorry.
cool, right? But listen what happens. So, of course, some motherfuckers on the other unit, they ratted. They're speculating and all this
They
shit.
get jealous. They get
And this
jealous.
was
They're
fucked
right.
up, man. Here's what's fucked up. They tried to tell on her, and she's under that 98 thing, so they actually moved her without anything. They tried to tell on her, and it was a lie. They said that she was bringing me in cigarettes, which was bullshit. I used to get cartons of Newports. Right there is the projects, okay? And it's a hole right in the wall. And we go out to the yard, or they throw it over top. But we had a window open. It was so easy to get shit in there. I was getting subs from Valentino's at night brought to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty good. That's better than what I ate because I used to eat the prison food. I ate prison food. You know that, right? I used to eat prison food all the time.
No, actually, Kodak, I didn't time you out or nothing. I haven't said nothing to you. I don't know about the blocking YouTubers because you're not blocked, buddy.
I would go into the officer's kitchen and they would make it right there, in front of you. So I would go there.
And if my moderator did time you out, that's the thing. Since you are part of the community, you're not going to get blocked. But, sometimes she does have to time you out if you're getting into it in the chats and stuff. But no, you're not blocked, buddy.
Yeah, when I was a trustee and I would go work the courthouse, all the cells from the people going to court. I'd have to clean the cells after they take the people out, clean it up and spray that orange shit all over the place and, sit in my little corner and wait for, people to move. And when the women came in, the CO would tell me, stay away from that cell. Don't even go over there. Yeah, because they would have took my Rolex away. I call it the Rollie, the fucking trustee bracelet. That when you're a trustee.
Yeah.
Give you that bracelet. You stay in a trustee house.
Yeah.
Everybody's a trustee. I mean, that was the best thing that could happen for me when I was finishing my time in Broward County.
Broward County, Joe. I've been in there. When I was on the run in Florida.
My brother did some time in that jail too. My brother did some time in that jail.
I was in there a couple of days. I waived extradition, and then Maryland refused to come get me, and they released me. But then I want to come back a couple years later because the case turned into something different. But I beat the case. But I was in there for a couple of days.
Yeah, when my case got dropped to state, they it was mostly time served, and I had 7.5 months left. You know what I mean? So the judge said,
Them skid bids though, concrete dreams. I'm not gonna lie. The guys who do like 7 months and 10 months and shit, those are hard bids, man. I prefer just settling in for 10 years, honestly.
Well, you know,
man, I called it
I
the
wanted
blue
to go off
sandwich
the road.
guys.
I wanted to go up the road, and I told the judge, let's get this over with. I don't want.
I don't know,
want
Simon. I might be on here a couple more minutes, but
and
you know, you
the
rewind.
judge gave me a year and a day, and I'm like, all right, great. You gave me a year and a day. That means I'm going up the road. You know, I didn't want to be in the county, and somehow the time I put in with all the diesel therapy with the fucking marshals, that all counted. So
yeah, it all counts. It all counts. Yes.
It didn't take me up the road.
Bazooka, nobody's fooling nobody. Nobody has said no tall tales on here. With Tony P's
I
arrested before.
7.5 more
He's not
months.
saying he did 100 years. What are they talking about, Tony? Some guy, Bazooka Joe. Do you know him?
What? No, I don't know any of these fucking idiots. But
no, we don't have idiots really over here, Tony. We don't have that over here. Like,
well, you know.
But so maybe he's just asking a question. Maybe Bazooka Joe's carrying some stuff over from other shows. We don't even do that.
Bazooka Joe's, he's,
Bazooka Joe. I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, he's been.
But
around.
anyway, hopefully,
So
yeah. But them little 7 and 10 months and 4 months and shit, like they suck.
Well, the worst is when you have a guy and he does skid bits, but over the course of his lifetime, and what I call that is I tell them life on the installment plan, because you're doing 3 years here, you're getting out for 2 years, go back for 5, get out for 3, go back for 8, come out for 4, come back. They're doing life on the installment plan. Guys that have been
there was guys getting released and they were back within 3 days.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I've seen that too.
Ware County Jail in the wintertime, we got guys who get locked up just to be have a place to live.
Well,
they really do.
I mean,
yes. I had a guy that lived up in Buffalo, New York, and he told me that during the winters he would intentionally get himself locked in the jail so he could have some place if he didn't have a place to stay.
Yeah, no, I knew people that did that. I knew people that did that. They would go check in at the mental hospital, or they would check in the jail.
Yeah, just so they can get some heat for the night, because it's freezing outside. Yeah, it's sad, but it's true. Very sad.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are in that. Hang on, Joe Cool said this right here. I want to read this comment. Oh, what's up? What's up, Salvatore? I want to read Joe Cool's comment. I don't work this shit. Used to work with a kid whose wife was a nurse at the county jail. One day, authorities knock on the door to tell him his wife is getting trains ran on her by prisoners. Crazy shit. Whoa.
Yeah, that's happened.
Let's get back. Was that an investigation?
That's happened.
Let us know. If you want to come
we
up,
had a guy.
If you want to tell the story, it don't matter.
We had a nurse. We had a brand new nurse. She just got hired. Beautiful girl, Spanish girl, and she was working. And one of the Mexican mafia guys, one of the head guys now, started talking to her and trying to, and next thing you know, SIS found out about it. So they had her under surveillance. So they waited, and what they did was they had a camera in the medical office, and they scheduled him. He scheduled for an appointment, and what they did was as soon as he walked in, they knew, and he went in the office, and they're watching. They don't know, and she got on his lap and straddled him, and they were making out, and that's when SIS went right in there and busted her, and they walked her out right at the prison. Walked her out, boom, just like that.
That has got to be embarrassing. Just like I seen.
Yep.
There was one guy, he conned the lady into, okay, she admitted it, and she was charged. So, yeah, I seen the one guy actually conned the lady. She was a counselor or something, and she actually helped him escape and everything. And she was married to It was wild.
Yeah. Yeah, go look at Escape from Dannemora. Go watch that.
What about you guys? Listen, here's another thing I paid attention to with you guys, COs in general.
Yeah.
You guys like to sleep with each other, not men on men. I'm talking about there might be a lieutenant.
You're talking about shitting where you eat.
Well,
dipping your company pen and dipping your ink in the company, whatever it is. Yeah, shitting where you eat at work.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You guys, you know what I'm saying. You might have a lieutenant that's a dude, and his wife's
Yeah.
a sergeant or his girlfriend's a
It
sergeant.
happens, buddy.
They did that in
Unfortunately,
Broward.
it happens.
They did that in Broward. All those fucking COs were hooked up with each other.
Yeah,
And-
it happens.
and
Unfortunately.
Well, it
sheriff-
happens more so in the black man jails. I'm not gonna lie, because
The
that's what
sheriff,
Jason was talking about earlier.
The sheriff,
And, what it is when I say a black jail or a white jail, what I mean by that is like back in the day, they used to be like, "Oh, you're going up there where the hillbillies run it." Well, that would be a more boring jail, less drugs, less drama, and stuff like that. But they'll get all your paperwork right. You'll get all programs you need, everything like that.
Yeah.
When
You get
go
what you
to a
got
black
coming.
man jail, they're not going to bother you and shit, but it's
Yeah.
get your work done. They're like,
I got
you
you.
don't need your shit, your transfer.
I understand fully, exactly.
So
And you're
now I'm just explaining to the audience when I say black jail.
no,
like,
but it's right. It's not. You're absolutely right. And how it's jails are run. I know that different regions run their jails different in the federal system. Some are more efficient, stuff like that. Some just can't get fucking simple paperwork right, and and they can't even manage the care, custody, and control of the inmates. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what you get with government employment and DEI. BOP is big on DEI, buddy.
I'll tell you though, I was so grateful when they made me a trustee. I got out of population. I got into that little pot over there. I went to 3 different jobs every day. Kept myself out of the cell.
I remember when I was young, when I was doing state prison time, and
Friday, they let me go work in the commissary. I was allowed to pack myself 1 bag for free.
Okay.
because they don't do that really.
And I got to eat deputy food every day.
Okay.
I never ate off a tray.
All right.
No mystery meat.
You had it made.
Yeah,
Sounds like you did good time.
It was very, like I said, God put his hedge around me, bro. I mean, I went in, saying all bets are off, God, until I get out of here, because, I might have to kill somebody in here. And, it just didn't happen. I mean, it just didn't happen.
Good.
The way the feds kept me moving and, moving me here, moving me there, moving here, moving there. I was all over the fucking place. I went all the way to Mississippi, from Maine to Mississippi. You know what I mean? And they just kept on putting Tennessee. I went to Knoxville.
Did you go to Oklahoma? Did you go to Oklahoma?
Yep.
The transfer center? Okay.
Yep. They dropped me off and they left me there for like weeks.
Thanks a lot, Tommy. Thanks a lot. Yeah, we definitely shout you out.
When they left
Tommy, how are you, Tommy?
Everybody subscribe. Tommy's Steak Social.
Yeah,
Club.
Tommy's a good guy. Tommy's a good Tommy Steak. Even though he blocked me. Didn't you block me one time, Tommy? I don't know. I don't know. I won't hold you. I won't hold it against you. I promise. I'm just kidding. I'm not holding it against you, Tommy. I like Tommy.
I'm happy that he
yeah.
He's on the right track now.
Yeah,
he is.
He's on the right track. He looks good with those guys.
He does. Yeah, he does good for Joey and stuff. He does.
He's got his own show, guys. He's got his own show.
Yeah, I know. He's got the social club. I know. The social club.
Yeah, that shit's good.
He was wrapped up with the.
I watch it after I wake up, though, Tom.
Yeah.
I watch it after I wake up because Tommy comes on kind of early. But I always
too early for me. Yeah, I can't. Me, I don't get up till the afternoon.
Listen, early morning, some people prefer it. You know what I mean?
I'm retired. Eric, I get up when I want to get up now. I get up. I go to bed when I want to. I get up when I want to, unless I got an appointment.
Tony, do you know Nick Catalano?
Nick Catalano?
Eric, do you see the comment here?
Kodak.
No, not
You're
Kodak.
asking me.
Catalano.
No, I know. I'm saying that's the name Kodak.
Kodak's.
I know the name Catalano. I know the name Catalano. Now, most people that I grew up around or knew, I knew them by their first names only. I didn't ask a lot of people what their last name was, so I could know them, or I don't know if I know them because I know a lot of Nicks. And depending on where this Nick is from, I can tell you yes or no.
Yeah, where's he from, Kodak? He's from New York?
He's got to be from New York. because the
Oh,
Catalan.
okay, hang on. Nick's the YouTube guy went to jail.
Oh, Nick Romano?
That's Nick Romano.
No, I don't know.
Oh, Romano's still in jail. Yeah, he's still in the can.
Sandman
No, I don't
thinks Casey's going to 3-peat? Nah, I got
No, Eagles, baby.
They're right
Are you
next door.
kidding
I'm going
me?
to go up there and party.
Yeah, they've been cheating
I
for
definitely
Kansas
want to
City
go up
long
there and
enough.
say that. You'll get
Who's
killed.
in the Super Bowl? Who's in it? The Eagles?
Eagles
Yeah,
and
it's
the Chiefs.
100%.
Oh, it's gonna be a game. I'm gonna have to go Kansas. I'm gonna have to go KC.
Yeah, I gotta go with Philly.
Yeah.
I don't want to see I don't want to see him 3-peat, and it's a lot of shit to that, man. But I mean, if they do, they do, man. You gotta give credit.
No, I'd like to see Philly win.
I like
to
Philly.
see
I mean, they're right
win,
next door, bro. It's my next door neighbor. I
No,
picked
I'm saying,
Philly to
I
go to the
like
Super
Philly.
Bowl, and I picked the Ravens. But obviously,
I'm all for Philly. I'm just saying I'm gonna
Yeah.
say Kansas City's gonna be the
well,
Philly's the
Tony
underdog.
Beach, I don't think me and you agree on football at all because you're a Steelers fan.
Yeah, I know.
That's my problem with you.
Well, the Eagles were the Steelers.
The Eagles beat the shit out of Steelers. Steelers haven't beat the Eagles in Philly in like 40 years almost. Or something.
The Steelers did better than I thought they would this year. They really did. So
until the end.
All right, Santa Man's taking shit personal. Philly beat the Bears 31-3.
Well, I'm a Philly guy. I'm from Philly originally, so I'm the Eagles. Philly.
Simon.
Are you really?
He's from the Mob 2 genre. Now, one of my guys asked about you, Tony. It's because everybody over here is in Mob 2. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I'm not Mob 2. You know what I'm saying?
They don't know. Like we're from the Mob 2 genre, whatever. I consider myself a member of the prison genre, the Mob 2 genre. Whatever. I don't really like to put labels, but I mean, it's just listen. I have my friends, that I like, that I go and follow and go on their shows, and then other shows I don't. So I don't get in any beefs. I don't want to be in any more beefs with anybody or anything.
I would say that the mob genre is Sammy, Michael, Sakali, A-Light.
I agree.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Our channel,
is not mob genre. He just dunked everybody. he baptized Sammy. Listen, I wish I got to do that. I would have held his ass under. Michael Francis baptized Sammy.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he got saved.
I think so.
Michael
Francis brought that religion also around. Now Sammy's a Christian. Who else?
Sammy got saved. That's right.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but
Francis dunked him. Boom.
Yeah.
I'd have held that bitch under there.
Michael's something else.
But I'll tell you what, listen. So yeah, I guess you could say Sammy.
I mean, those guys are the mob genre.
We're the mob genre.
I like
shows to talk about the mob shit. They don't, they don't know nothing. They don't know no street shit.
Yeah.
They had never been in shit. I mean, a lot of people.
I actually, when I came on, I told everybody I don't want to talk about the mob. I can't talk about the mob. I never did a 302. I'm not one of these guys that ratted. So I could talk about guys that are dead and, tell a story here and there. But there's a lot of stories I can't tell. And
can I ask you something, Tony?
What?
Besides all that, besides all the mob shit and all that stuff, I'm talking about you personally, your story. Wow.
Yeah.
Why like your actual personal story, I think would be more exciting. Thanks, Sam, man. I think your personal story is more exciting about being on the street for all them years, homeless, how people treated you, how it gave you this raw. I mean, because you know what I mean? I've talked to you about this before. I'm not, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't understand. People have been through certain things. I don't understand why you've never talked about that and those experiences.
Well, I tried, but somebody keeps rewriting my life for me in the wrong direction.
Right, but nobody can rewrite that, Tony. Nobody can rewrite your life.
There's somebody with another channel that attacks everything that I say and discredits everything I say.
Okay, Tony, I get
So
attacked also.
I you know, like wasn't homeless my whole life.
I
I
understand.
went on my own
But
at 13.
that's a very interesting part of your life. That's what I'm
13.
saying. You've met all kind of different walks of life. You've everything.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I left my house at 13 and I ran around, in and out of my house from 13 to 16. Like I would stay home for like 3 days and they kicked me out again and I'd go back to the streets. Sometimes I would, leave New York and go to a different state because the cops in the school were always looking for me. So,
Truancy officers.
yeah, and I'd go lose myself in Manhattan for like 2-3 months. You know what I mean?
No, actually, Richmond Hill, Tony Pizza wasn't just sleeping in the street. He actually has met a lot of actors. He's actually been around a lot of different people.
Yeah, he's traveled in a lot of circles. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. The stuff you would see on the street.
Yeah, I mean, when I was talking about my cousin Tommy, right? He was like the beginning of my street life because
I already know about the Francis thing.
By the time, I started following my cousin who was a lot older, 4 years older than me. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. No, he was 7 years older than me. He was 24 when he died. I was 18. So 6 years older than me. Sorry. So when I started following Tommy around like a little puppy dog, I was actually 13, 14. And he was already out of school. You know what I mean? He was a grown man. And he taught me the ropes of ticket scalping, drug dealing, collecting money, beating people up, shit like that. And always getting in trouble. So the thing with him was my aunt and uncle would kick him out. He'd come to my house, and then my parents would kick me out, and then we'd both be out, and then we'd go to somebody else's house until they got.
I want to talk too also about this. Like a lot of people get the wrong idea. Okay, a lot of homeless people are drug addicts and stuff like that, but we got a lot of homeless veterans and things like that, and people maybe with mental issues. Or like, I'll give you my situation. I don't have a family, like a big family or nothing like that. Like I didn't grow up with like parents in houses, and I didn't have a home. I didn't even have my own bedroom, let alone an own bed. I bought my own bed in my life and everything like that. So with that being said, when I come out of prison and stuff like that, it can be, I could have possibly been homeless. I was listed as homeless, but obviously I never was, but I could have been. And that had nothing to do with drugs. That had nothing to do with alcohol. It had nothing to do with that. It's just, I didn't have the family support. Luckily, now I'm not saying I've done everything on my own, guys, because I've done a lot of shit legitimately. And I've had a lot of help because I got a lot of great friends from different areas all through the United States. Okay, I do network. I am, like they call me, an opportunist or whatever. I'm not a scumbag, but I do network with different type of people and stuff like that because I've had to. I didn't join a gang, but I have to do that when I could see that a person could actually wind up homeless without drugs and alcohol or any kind of support.
Yeah, and it can happen to anybody, especially today. If you have a traffic accident or something and you don't have insurance and you're medically bankrupt, I mean, it can happen. It attacks anybody. It doesn't matter your color, your religion, your race, or anything.
You could be a regular hairnet guy, go to work every day 9 to 5. Your wife decides to bang the fucking neighbor behind your back. You know what I mean? You find out. You confront her. She calls the cops. You're out of the house.
Well, it's just like this.
You're out of the house. She says, "Oh, he hit me." Now you're out of the house. You can't go back to your own house.
I myself have lost a lot of things. I fucked up a lot of money. Like I said, I'm not going to sit up there and lie.
Anything can happen. Anything.
Okay, listen. So what I want to say is, like, look at some of the superstars like Mike Tyson's and people like that. Look at all the money they fucked up. Now imagine a regular person, just a regular fuck up who doesn't have, they could wind up with nothing if they don't have family or people care about them. Plus another thing is this: on your way up, you want to be nice to everybody and most people, obviously, because you never know who's going to be there on your way down. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
no,
we're
you got to see
exposed
the
by
same
Yeah,
people out there.
I agree 100%. That's a good way to live your life, Eric. And that's the way I definitely,
Tony
I try
D.
to, I
Gregorio.
fall short
that
sometimes, but
saved
I
me
try
plenty
to.
of times. That and rescue rangers. I love my rescue rangers.
Tony D. Gregorio, Tony
Shout
D.
out to
from
them.
the Bonanno family. He's dead. When I started, getting groomed into the, life being around these guys, Tony D saw something in me right away. And he told me, he said,
Tone. This ain't the mob, John, bro.
no, I know, but he said
They
to
don't
me,
care. Like
be
the
nice
mob.
to the ones, be nice to the ones on the way up because you're going to see the same people on the way back
Yeah.
down. That's the first thing that old man told me when I met him, because he saw I was liked by everybody. And, I didn't plant the flag with anybody yet. I was still young. And, that was one of the first pieces of advice I got from a wise guy. That was a wise guy. You know what I mean? And it worked. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
a
was
lot of
always
stuff can happen,
respectful.
especially with these veterans. A lot of these veterans wind up homeless. That's crazy. And nobody does
Yeah.
nothing.
And a
I
lot
put
of that
something up
has
in
to
my
do with,
shorts. Hang on for a second,
a
guys.
lot.
I put up a short today, guys, and I was over at Home Depot and Walmart that's right across the street, and I was getting some stuff because I'm fixing up some shit. So I ran into these people. I put a short up about them with all their information. They're for veterans, homeless veterans, and all that, Jesus, and they're a good group of people. You just check out my short I put up today.
Yeah. So like I said, from 13 to 16, I was in and out of my house. And, I crashed wherever I could crash, and I survived. Once I checked out of school at 16 and I started working, um, you know, my parents didn't leave until 1984. So I was 18 when they left New York. But from 16 to 18, I was out of the house, and I had nothing to do with them anymore. And I moved in with a friend of mine, Frankie
Hell yeah,
Gonzalez, and I stayed with him and his family up in Brentwood for a pretty decent amount of time. I, went to work. We made money. We hung out. We were like brothers, and he had 3 older brothers, and that introduced me to Spanish Harlem. They were connected with all the guys in Spanish Harlem. The movie Carlito's Way. I know the guy.
I love that movie, Carlito's Way.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, good movie, good movie. Hey, I'm gonna drop down now,
know,
guys.
Yeah, I'm about to
I
wrap the
know,
show up in like 5 minutes anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
go
know the
get some.
guy
Nice
that
seeing you, everybody.
All right,
Okay.
so thanks for coming
All
on.
right, pizza.
Take
See you
care.
later, Eric. Bye bye.
Take care.
Take care,
Ciao.
guys.
So, Carlito's Way was written by a lawyer who had three clients that were dealers. And the main guy was a friend of my friend's. And he owned.
Oh, so they made the movie after somebody. That's what you're saying?
Right. The lawyer. Carlito's a fictitious person. The guy that Carlito's supposed to be about is still alive and still well. You know what I mean? But he owned from 117 in Lex to 117 in Park.
Okay.
Every house on that block was his. I mean, that guy was the guy. You know what I mean? Like he was the man. And that's what introduced me to that life with the blow and this and
Who
that.
wrote the book? Who wrote the book, Tony? Somebody wants to know who wrote the book. There was a book about it?
There's a lawyer.
Classic.
The lawyer.
Edwin de Torres or something?
Yeah, it's a lawyer.
Thank you, Timothy. Thank you.
It's a lawyer. I don't know his name. You know what I mean? I just know the story because when the movie came out,
Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
Yeah, when the movie came out, it reminded me of hanging out in Spanish Harlem, going to the Latin Palace, and after hours where all the the neighborhood. Huh?
We have one down here, Latin Palace.
Oh yeah, we had one over there on 116 in Park.
You know where it's at? It's down Fells Point, Tony. You know where Fells Point is.
Yeah, Fells Point. Yeah. So but this Latin Palace was like, when you went in, they asked you if you had any weapons. You said no. They open up a drawer and they tell you pick one. You know what I mean? Like Like you needed a weapon to be in there. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
yeah, I've seen some places like that. I went to a strip club in Jersey. It was like that. I'll tell you what.
I mean, that the DJ was Fast Eddie. He was a Puerto Rican dude, and he was an amazing DJ. But he was friends with the guy named Strafe that made that song "Set It Off."
Yeah.
That song "Set It Off." Yeah. So Strafe, I actually saw Strafe perform "Set It Off" before it even went on record.
They're saying that our volume's too low. Can you hear me all right, Skookil? They said Stone Sailor was too high and we're too low.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how to adjust it.
I'm
I'll
up.
speak louder.
Mine's up. So,
Okay.
so anyway, like, I made it off the street by the time I was 17, 18 years old because I took over the bar in Babylon. And I lived in the bar. I made an apartment in the basement. And, I don't know where FBS gets his ideas from.
Well, it's not about the Tony. We're not talking about FBS, man.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, like, but he wants to tell everybody, bullshit. So, in the interim of taking over a bar at 17, 18 years old and learning the ropes of being around older people that drink a lot and, learning their quirks and knowing when to cut them off before you have to beat them up and throw them out, that kind of shit. That took a lot of, I mean, I was just a teenager. So, I was learning things at a different level, at a different.
You were just sitting back watching how things operate, and you got to catch on.
Well, yeah. But I was getting, like I had to learn the hard way. Is what I'm saying. Because
I was going that Baltimore Street down to Baltimore Block. I was in them strip clubs when I was 15. Fucking, I had strippers. I had strippers selling G packs for me. It's $1,000 worth of dimes. They give me 600, keep 400. I was fucking cleaning up down there when I was 15. We had a little crew. I'm gonna tell that story one day on here, guys.
I would get a lot of guys that would come into the bar and they would say to me like, hey, I got a job for you to do. And I'm like, really? Yeah. Great. When? Tomorrow. We're gonna go do this, that, and the other thing. And I'll be like, okay. And tomorrow would come and I wouldn't see them. And then I'd be mad at them. And then when they finally show up again, I'd be like, oh, what the fuck? And what are you talking about? What do you mean, what am I talking about? You told me we're going to go do a fucking paint job. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Yeah, now I'm arguing with the asshole and he's a customer. You know what I mean? And he wants to fight with me. I throw him the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, my partner was like my father. He was older than me. And he would tell me, like, listen, stop listening to these fucking drunks because they'll say anything to be your friend while they're drinking. They want a free drink from you. They want,
we're about to wrap up, Matt, in a minute.
Yeah, so I learned that route, and then in the interim of that, the disco reopened at Shalimar that I hung out with and when I was a kid. So when Silvio and Frankie came back from Brooklyn, they collected me and brought me back over there with them. Then the next thing you know, I moved to Brooklyn. I had an apartment on Quentin Road. I was collecting money. That's when I met Sammy and all those guys. I met everybody because, we had cigarette machines and Joker Pokers in everybody's clubs and bars and restaurants or whatever.
All right, so, I don't want to cut you off, but I got to go.
Yeah.
I got to
anyway,
I got to take care of the dogs and stuff. I'm gonna wrap the show up. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Remember, let everybody know about the channel. Hit that like button. Tell everybody to subscribe. This is what we're going to be doing, guys. We're going to have the man hour. It might spill over into 3 hours, but we're going to talk about different topics. Different people's life situations and stuff. Anybody who wants to be an actual guest, just contact me ahead of time, and we can bring you up or whatever.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, guys. All right, Tony. And all right, guys. I'll see you guys later. Remember, always stand on business, guys. What's up, Brian?